live now, but now I'm gonna in my guests, my guesterinos. Let's see if they join in. Okay, there's the get live link. Get live. Okay, there's that. I don't wait. Am I delayed? No, I don't think I'd be delayed. Though I'm showing delayed on here. I don't know why. Great. Restream, why are you delaying me? That's not what we want. Don't do this to me. I control you. Okay. Oh, yeah, I need to get my phone right. You looked, yeah, see, that's the thing. That's weird. I looked delayed. But I'm not doing, oh, wait. I know why I'm delayed. Hold on. I know. I know why. It's not my fault, except it is my fault. It's very much my fault. Now I should not look delayed anymore. This should be better. Not that one. There we go. This should be better. Welcome, Cellcast. Cellcast Gaming is buying Womp Train tickets while wielding the X-Buster of Puss. Very good, very good. This is better. Yes, I realized what I was doing wrong. My bad, guys. Hey, Neko. Hi, Lion get in? Lane get in? I'm not sure what that means. Let's see. Okay, I need to fix this. I need to get my sound cues and my soundboard already, but first I need to download it from my Discord. Go to Discord here. So I'm still getting set up, guys. I should have started the stream a little earlier. Sorry about that. Hey, D Tungsten, you're currently. Oh, I was gonna say you're currently in the lead for the bid, but no, I forgot to put timer on so that people will know like what is this thing right here. Because I don't have any like link to this, and that's not helpful. So I need to put that in. So many things. So many things. Focus. Download the thing. One thing at a time. Download. Okay, that's downloading. Hey, Stacy, how are you doing? Yes, so many things about it. Exactly. Too many things, I'll say. Ashley has entered the fray while wielding the flux capacitor of bad karaoke. Hey, Ashley. Well, at least you don't have to put up with my shenanigans on the show tonight. Oh, I have a feeling I will have to put up with your shenanigans just off air. Oh, yeah, so exactly, guys. You get it. So many things. How are you all doing tonight? Hopefully you're all doing well. It's super hot here. Going to get hotter. Please be praying for me because I don't have an AC until Sunday. So be praying that I'm able to find places for me and the kids to go to stay out of the heat. Okay, so I got that downloaded. Now I'm going to... Oh, someone's here. LJ is here. Hey, LJ. Let's see. I can't hear you. Let me see. Is that on my end? I don't think it's on my end. I should be able to hear you. So I'll let you know if I hear you. You keep doing your thing. I'll let you know if I can hear you. I'm trying to get my soundboard up and ready. But thumbs up or not if you can hear me. Okay, cool. Start. I'm gonna edit this. Put the right sound in. Not airplane. We want X2. Okay, save. Turn that all the way up. Airplane mode. So we don't get little beeps and stuff during the stream. That's no me gusta. That means I don't like Ashley and Star Fox. That's what that means, in case you weren't sure. Francisco has Mr. Shifty, the movie in the background. Yes, exactly. Mr. Shifty, the movie. You got it. Geek Devotions. How are you doing? You're currently in the lead. Let's see if I can zoom in real quick. Yeah, you're on the lead, Geek Devotions, for the bid for your pick of one of these art pieces. These sweet, sweet X-Men art pieces. Glad you're not experiencing Louisiana heat. Yeah, I imagine it's way muggier there than here. I'm going to do a test, guys. Actually, I'll wait on that. No. Come back, soundboard. I need you. Don't leave me. There we go. Okay, that's there. Huzzah, exactly. Let's see. Neko says, God, please save this man. God, please save this man from the molten rock in God's name. Amen. Seriously. God help him. He's dying. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Neko. Ashley says, adding that to my prayer list. Thank you very much, Ashley. Okay, and speaking of Ashley, let me get the little something that links about what this little, I'm like hovering my mouse over. I just realized you can't see my mouse. what the little dealie next to my head is. So I'll just talk through it while I'm making a timer event for it. Let's see. I want to view details. I want the auction link. Copy it. So what the timer next to me is, at 10 o'clock tonight, Pacific time, an auction is going to be ending. And what the auction is for one a friend of mine who's actually going to be on the show tonight, Colin Schlicht. He does amazing graphic design and illustration. I think I'm hearing you, LJ.
Okay, cool. You're hearing me now?
Yes, I'm
hearing
you. Fantastic. He's doing all these. He's doing all the X-Men in this awesome like X pose. I actually have a Magneto magnet of one of them, and also a Gambit.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's a magnet, so that's like perfect. But he has these. I think they're like 8x8 prints of several of the X-Men in these like X poses. So he's donating one of them to help raise money for Ashley APK 1186 here, who's part of the community, whose cat had to go into the veterinary ER room or whatever it is recently. So we're trying to help her come together as a community to defray that cost. So we're raising money through this auctioning off this art piece. Okay, so I'm trying to set up a timer so that will appear every few minutes. Create new. This will be auction. Okay. Get X-Men art. Save the cat. Bid on awesome on our X-Men. There's Colin. Let me bring in Colin. Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Colin? I guess that's a no. Hello, Colin. Hello. And now I have a youngin up, so that just adds more to the plethora of things going on. Colin, if you can hear us, thumbs up. I assume you can't hear us, though.
Yeah, what happened with me is I got a new headset, so my mic output was like bugging out, so I eventually had to change my audio source.
Gotcha. Okay. Real quick, but then you have to go, because I have
hello everybody in chat.
To manage right now. Some people do. I mean,
test. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
yep,
I can hear
there
you.
You are.
Can you hear us?
Francisco, I can't hear you.
Okay, I can. Okay, here. We can hear you.
Yeah,
Colin.
I can hear him.
Okay.
All right.
If you want to come say hi real quick, you can, but then you have to leave.
I cannot hear the chat though.
Okay, that's a movie. Yes, it's very violent. Okay, go please. I love you. Go, please. I love you.
Okay.
Yes, there's Colin. Okay. Hello. We can hear you, Colin, but you can't hear us?
I can't hear you. No.
Of course. Okay, you need to go. I have lots to do to finish getting ready. I love you very much, but please go to bed. I know, right? There's so much to do. I'm so far behind. Please go to bed so I don't stress more. Thank you. There's Paul.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So we're still trying to get Colin to be able to hear us. So trying to get that.
Your kids can hear you.
Yeah, so they can. Real quick.
Hi, Paul.
Hello. I was supposed to way to teleport in and out there. Am I coming in fuzzy?
Yes.
I sound a little fuzzy on my end.
You're good. You're good for me.
I'm so far away from getting to that point, Paul.
Oh, okay, cool. Hello, everybody on the streams. Welcome. It's Friday night, and the mood is right. Gonna have some fun. Show you how it's done. TGIF.
So let's see. Let me see. Patch, can you hear us and or
Yes,
be heard by
I can
us?
hear
Okay.
you. Can you hear me?
Okay, cool. Yes.
Yes.
Good deal.
So I'm trying to instruct Colin here via private chat. So let's see, can you-
Ooh, the private chat.
oh my
So
god.
special.
Everyone in can you guys, Paul, can you address chat, Twitch chat and YouTube chat, because I'm like so far behind and I'm not going to catch up at this point.
Pre-production.
Let's see.
I can't even speak right now, let alone address chat. I look fuzzy. That's because that's what I drink, a fuzzy navel, and that's the way I look. No. I don't know if there's anything on my end I could do about that. Maybe it's I'm having slow internet. I need a Bic, like a pen. People, the chat demands to know why you are behind on chat, Francisco. This is so unlike you. What's going on?
Don't start, guys.
Start. Oh, we started way long ago. We're just picking up from last time.
What?
Yeah, I was gonna say. My question was, did they ever finish?
Right. How can you start something if that's always going?
You mean how can you? Oh yeah, I guess that's good.
What is happening?
It's like
Nani?
eternity right here.
Don't really know.
Focus on
Neko.
this. Save the cat. Bid to.
Yo,
don't
can you hear me
start-
okay?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Okay, I can hear you, but my headphones aren't working for some reason. I don't know why.
Are
Then
they
how can you hear
Bluetooth,
us
or are
if
they
your headphones
plugged
Well, I
straight
can.
in?
I can.
Oh, you can
through
hear
the-
me that because you laughed at that. Nice.
I can hear you through the computer speakers.
Oh,
But I don't want to like have any echo or anything. Francisco, will it pick up any echo or anything like that?
I'm not hearing any
you
echo
get
on this.
Audacity.
I'm not hearing any echo right now. Yeah,
We can hear everyone.
and-
Thank you. Chat can hear everyone.
this is just my own dropping the ball continues to happen, guys. I didn't ask any of you if you would be able to record on your end your own audio.
Oh, the
Colin,
audacity.
I'm not expecting that from you because you just got
Audacity.
So here's what, for those of you who can record on your own,
Yep.
if you can do that, please set that up. And
Test
guess
one,
what,
test.
Paul? I actually had the recording of the spiritual speculation from last time. I don't know how it appeared on my DAR, but it's there.
What?
Yeah, so
That's
I'll
a
be able to
miracle.
release
A blessing from the Lord.
that. It is. So, Colin, if you want to still work on trying to get your audio to go through your headset, feel free.
Yes.
I'm glad at least we have a backup though, because you're not echoing. Are we
Okay,
echoing for you at all?
Okay, I got you now.
Oh,
in my
okay.
headphones.
Okay, fantastic.
Everyone is louder than Retro. Retro.
Than me? Okay,
Yeah,
I can
retro.
turn my-
You're
You're
yeah.
kind of low.
Yeah,
is
you're
it
a bit
because
lower
you're
than
kind of
anybody
sad?
I don't know what it is.
Or maybe you're trying to stay
there we
low
go.
because of your kids.
That's might be part of it. I feel like I'm doing my normal volume
good
now.
now.
Is that better? Yeah, I raised it, so hopefully that's a bit better now.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So
When would you like to have us record our backup? Or
when I
ours?
say we'll do a countdown of
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. When we get to Mark, you hit it.
One of these.
Okay.
Somebody said hi on the chat.
Yeah, there's a. Oh, well then, feel free, Colin.
Hi, whoever it was. And hey, everybody that I'm gonna talk to tonight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Paul, can you do introductions for everyone,
Okay.
please, while I do this?
So above me that I'm pointing to right now is the captain rubbing his eyes. That's El Capitan. Over
Never heard of him.
to the right
Yeah.
of him is War J or LJ. Welcome
Okay.
back.
All
and
right.
he's like the Graham Pumbaa of some sort of geek site Christian online. He'll talk more about that.
Yep.
And
Awesome.
to his right is an artist that's helping out with sick animals right now.
Are
so,
you saying people's names?
no, sorry. Yes, I am. I said
Patch.
War JLJ. And then
Okay.
Colin Schlicht is here. So check out art by Colin next to him.
Yeah.
And then to my right, I'm pauljpowers.com if for people who are still having trouble to
Oh,
read or that's
Geek
too
Potions
small.
are very sweet.
And then to my right is
Just give you a half.
Yeah, my goodness, my hands are huge compared to yours.
You can't get closer. Here you go.
There you go.
There we go.
So now,
That way.
Em, I don't know if you're going to address this. Maybe I'll save it for the podcast. But it's so good to have Patch back.
Yes, indeed.
And he is. I don't know. There's a lot of things I could say about him, but I'll let him tell more about that. But he was actually supposed to be on our previous episode. Is that right? Was he supposed to be on
Yeah,
for
that's right,
airplane?
for airplane.
Yeah,
Yes.
He missed the plane.
I missed
Can
the
you
flight.
believe
I missed
that?
my flight.
Plane,
I
exactly.
missed my flight.
Yeah, but
That's a good one.
it's almost kind of fitting that he made it to this one.
Mhm. Why is that, Paul?
Well, that's because when we reviewed X-Men, the first movie,
Yes.
you were here for that, right?
I was. Yeah.
Yes.
I was here. I was here for that. And
With
with
your
my co-host. Yeah. With the
your
Feeling
co-host, who
because we did Logan on our show with you guys.
that's right. We
Yeah.
did a crossover.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I was hoping that the original, or at least one of the original dudes from the X1 was going to be on here.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
got it.
I love that episode, man.
Oh, good. Good.
That's all this
Yeah.
guy's fault right here, and this guy.
Yeah.
No, it's this guy and that guy. Wait, over there.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do
Right.
with me. Except it has everything to do with me. I'm drunk on my own power. Okay.
Well, You're
Can you
the,
guys-
Not
the
Paul.
professor in this.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do, guys. We're gonna start chat. I'm so sorry I've been ignoring you all night. Thank you for being understanding though that I'm doing all this other stuff. Yes, plot twist, exactly, Nego. I'm going to start going through the checklist so we can do like audio
Oh wow!
levels and all that.
And wait, did you update your checklist to check for battery and actually start hitting record?
I didn't, but I did put a new battery in. I deleted all the files, so I have 3.5 hours left of record time.
Good.
So I
We'll have
shouldn't
to
have
make it
any
short
issues.
this time then.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me do an audio check of everyone. Let's start with Paul.
This is pauljpowers.com. Make sure you go by and visit. Stop by and say hi.
Okay, and LJ.
My name is LJ Lowry, president of Geeks Under Grace.
Okay,
That was it. Gug. Sorry.
Colin.
Hi, Colin Schlicht, artbycolin.com.
All right,
Avid
and-
Wolverine enthusiast, Batman enthusiast, Francisco Ruiz enthusiast.
Wow.
And Patch.
This is Patch repping the Feeling Film podcast where emotion trumps technicalities.
Awesome. Okay, I think we're all good, guys.
Cool.
And yeah, I think I'm pretty much on par with you guys, so that's good. I have noticed, like, I did a comparison from our X-Men episode from years past to a current episode, and overall our volume is low. So I know I was using a service way back in the day that helped with that, but I thought I was mitigating for it. But I'm going to try now to help increase our overall volume so our quality will continue to improve. But okay, Arnold, I don't need that right now.
Very good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, can you guys all hear this?
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
People are voting for the Womp Train, by the way.
We can't do the Womp Train right now. I mean, we could, but I'm not going to do it right
No.
now.
Because it's all part of Team Womp. Represent.
What's
Boy,
Team
that's a lot of steam coming from that train.
Team
What is this
Womp
thing? Yeah.
is a thing during my game that started during my gaming streams
Uh-huh.
where I would do something boneheaded or I'd fall in a pit or something.
Okay,
And
so this happens all the time then, right? Like,
Yes.
Austin, or-
You're catching on.
Okay.
And
so
then someone, when that happens,
He's literally getting red. Oh, I see. Team Womp. Yeah, that makes
Love
sense.
it.
Yeah.
Team Womp.
No.
Funky.
No, hey man, if you follow that, I mean, it would just be me all the time. I would be the leader of Team WAP. So
no. You can
big
you
fan.
know who would be a better team to be on, Colin? Team
What?
Smote You. It's a much better team. We're chillaxed. We're awesome. We smite
Yeah.
people. It's so much better.
They don't
Something
even
like a
care
true
about grammar with smoke like you. It's smite you, but whatever.
Smoten.
Yeah.
You like discipline.
All right. So anyone have? I asked Colin earlier if he
Who's
had a
your
hard
daddy?
stop time, which I believe he said like a 10-ish. So I know 2
No,
hours.
I said
for him.
8:15 hard stop.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're
Nice.
recording all your stuff beforehand. I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hard out at 8:15.
Oh, that would be
LJ.
amazing. Just like a 10-minute spiel nonstop. And then like you can add some random things in there and we can cut it and splice it in there.
It's like what? Good Morning Vietnam, where Robin Williams' character spliced together the Nixon speech
Yeah.
with like random questions. What do you think about toilet water? Man, it's amazing. I love it.
Exactly.
Let's get on point, guys. Okay, LJ or Patch? Do either of you have a time you have to be done by?
Nope.
Okay. Let's see. Do all of you have your likes down to 1 like and a classic maker, 1 dislike, and a tragic maker?
All these
Yeah.
dislikes I have to.
So one each.
I hope this doesn't turn dirty like
Well,
Jurassic Park.
two each.
Oh, the Jurassic Park thing was absurd.
It's almost as bad as Monty.
I was yelling at Francisco through my headphones. Yeah, during that episode.
Yeah. Try the mic
Whatever.
That
Instead
was
of the headphones.
crazy.
Try a mic next time. Jeez.
next- Oh, he's yelling through the headphones. You can't hear through the
What?
headphones. You have to yell through the mic.
I assume you only yelled at like the first half of the podcast.
Oh, because it picks up by the second. And it's
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, it picks up at the end. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yeah, I just realized I had to call my dislikes. Let's see.
All right, we'll go with that. Sorry. I have so many things wrong with this movie. I'm supposed to pick 2. All right.
Brutal.
Okay, I'll do. Oh gosh, I'll do this one and that one. Okay. All right. So, thumbs up if you do have those cold.
I'm calling. I'll still call.
Hey, I've got a question.
Go for it.
For the group as well.
Only a question?
but-
go.
But I mean, it would be pretty fun to talk about on the show. So
All right.
I don't know.
Let's do it.
I wanted to see like if y'all were stoked about the mutants in the MCU, and X-Men in the MCU, and like who you would pick for the new Wolverine, or who your favorite might be.
Ooh.
Justin Bieber.
Let's. You know what? If we have time, let's do that for a bonus.
Okay.
Let's do that.
cool.
Like, what X-Men would we like to see in the MCU?
All of them.
I agree with that.
I have an easy answer. I would
X
want,
people is
but
what they're called now, guys.
I'll
Come
save
on.
it for later.
Let's get political.
Oh,
Wow.
Hey, that's not nice to the aliens and dogs.
Oh, sorry, my bad. X individuals.
All right, there we go.
How
Those
can
who
we
identify as
more
X.
Very anti-group of you, but
the
okay.
rails?
My
Here's
fault.
the rail. It's going this way.
Who do any of you have a spiritual speculation? Speaking of bonus content,
I
Yeah, a
do.
little bit.
all of you. Okay.
I have a lot that I could say, but I'll leave it
Okay.
to-
Oh,
Awesome.
good, because mine's very basic.
Okay, chapstick for me. Of adamantium fall.
Yeah, chapstick.
Anthem. Anthem.
I have a question for you, Colin.
Who is
Yo.
your daddy and what does he do?
Best question.
I got that. Those are panned. All right.
Who is
Windows
your
are all
daddy?
closed. Got my water.
Paul, you should take advice from your bottle there. Bye. Okay.
Oh,
Burn.
I see how it is.
Adamant, guys? Man, you guys. I love that you guys are all talking and answering these questions. It's so awesome. I wish
Hey,
I
Paul,
could be more engaged with you guys right now.
Paul, it's Colin. Hey. Yeah. So the Arnold stuff needs to be cranked. Like that needs to go up louder. However you can do it.
It's
Okay.
only
Like-
for pre-show, Colin.
I wish
as
I
loud-
could. I've
as loud as
got
it goes.
this. I got this cranked for some.
Yeah.
It used to come in louder, right? Or is it?
It did used to come in louder from what I remember.
Yeah.
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 I just want to make sure that
Is
stuff
it
is
just
heard.
volume?
Yeah.
Is
Is
it
that
just
better?
volume? Just turn up your
Yeah.
volume on your iPad, or have you done that already?
No, it's all the way up.
You like discipline.
Oh, okay.
You like discipline?
Like discipline. Like discipline.
Ha ha ha.
I don't know what
Batissimo, thanks for the shout on the X print.
Oh, Batissimo's my bot. It just does that. It'll do that regularly now, every 7 minutes.
Well, thank you, Batissimo bot guy.
Or did someone else? Or it relayed a message.
Oh, it must have.
See.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh,
Okay,
maybe
I'm
this
gonna.
would help. Is this
whatever, it doesn't
louder or am I louder too?
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. That's a little bit
That's
better.
a bit louder. And now you talk, Paul?
Hello? Do I need to turn myself down? I mean, can you
No.
turn me down?
Yeah. It would. I can only turn you down, but everything coming through your sound
Stop
would
it.
turn down. So
I think you're good.
yeah, let's carry
You're
on.
fine. You're fine.
Let's everyone who can start.
No more Mr. Kimball have to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Everyone who can start their own recording, thumbs up if you're ready to do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Wait,
All right.
start my own recording? Like,
Yeah, I don't expect you to do that, Colin. I mean, unless you want to download Audacity in like the next 2 seconds and get it all set up. Okay.
I don't
that's
even
fine.
know what a Batissimo is, so why would I download some other program?
Okay.
Yeah, I should.
So-
I'll just leave the chat.
Okay. You don't have to leave the chat. That's fine. Engage with if you guys are willing to engage with chat. More power to you. I wish I could. So we're gonna start your recordings on Mark. 5,
Hi, Mark.
4,
Wait, we're not there
3,
yet.
2, 1. Mark.
There's
Mine
Mark.
is actually recording. It is going. The red light's
Yep.
on.
Mine's good as well.
Okay. And make sure it's only recording you. It's not recording anyone else.
Nope,
Now we
just
have
me.
fun.
Okay.
It's all about you.
Fantastic. Okay. Got technicals. Got that.
What if the
Yeah,
toilet
virtual
flushes in the
speculation.
background?
That's
I can't
fine.
hear.
Don't worry
Is that
about
okay?
that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be okay.
What if it
we
flushes
don't
like
have
a couple times? Yeah. Is that okay?
Patch. Go
What?
to your room.
I'm here.
Go to your room.
I'm here all night, folks.
Oh.
At least you can fly.
I am that boy who could do that. He's an X-Man too, apparently.
Are we
He
gonna just
is?
have all the
I mean, if he can fly,
Oh,
Yeah, Charles just
well,
hasn't
what
gotten
if
a
he's
hold
an
of him
alien,
yet.
not a mutant? Is he still
shut
an
it,
X-Man?
Paul. Stop discriminating.
No, I'm just wondering.
His X power is he is annoying and can't speak very much.
All right, that makes sense.
Okay,
I would wonder.
so
Yeah, go ahead.
I need to get my striker X-Men. Well, I must admit.
No, that's more.
I
That's more
must admit-
Gandalf.
I mean, Ian
I
McKellen.
must admit.
Striker.
I must admit. This is certainly the exact place I'd expect to find you. How's that, guys? Is that
What
a good
version
one?
of this movie did you watch?
I think that's Jason Statham, isn't that? Isn't that the? If it's on the menu. If it's on the menu.
Okay, does anyone else have a good striker? I apparently don't have a good striker impersonation.
You got.
He does do the McDonald's, yes. Ketchup is good. I don't know. I know he doesn't say that. Whatever. Anyone?
Just
Fine.
do
I'll
the Magneto. Just do Magneto and
He doesn't.
Just do
Magneto
it
doesn't
as
say this, though.
Gandalf and go.
Fine.
yeah, just do your
Fine.
Gandalf impression and then
Okay, the X-Men.
see.
All right.
Perfect.
All right. If you're ready to go. Thumbs up if you're ready to go. Oh, Colin.
A thumb is up. That is a thumb. That is
All
up.
right, fine. Okay, here we go. We're gonna actually start recording. Chat, thank
the
you
right
all for
thing to
being here. Please feel free to participate during the when we do the what's it called, box office, all that stuff. Wherever we do edit modes. All right, but we're gonna start the actual recording in 5,
We're
4,
ignoring you in 2.
3. The X-Men? Well, I must admit, this is certainly the exact place I'd expect to find you. How long has it been? 5 years? You haven't changed one bit. Me, on the other hand, naturally listen to this episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Reflux capacitor, fluxing, crew, stations, scanning for X2, X-Men United 2003. Prepare to rewind in 3, 2, 1.
Let's go, Bob.
Welcome, rewinders and new listeners, to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I am your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I'm joined by your XO and mine, Paul, the master of all the powers.
You got any beer?
This is a podcast, Paul.
Oh, so that's a no.
Yeah, that's a no. Also, for this discussion of the film X2, X-Men United, we have a full crew complement. First of which, we welcome back aboard Feelings Officer Patrick Patch Hicks. Welcome,
Hey,
Patch.
everybody. Thank you. It's good to be back, and hopefully lots of emotion comes out of this episode. At the very least, some good laughs.
Maybe half of the episode.
Welcome.
Our next two guests, in addition to Patch, are also both being promoted this episode. So let's first congratulate LJ Lowry, also known as War J around these parts. With 6 Retro Rewind podcast episodes under his belt, he is now promoted to Information Technology Chief. Congratulations,
Wow,
LJ.
good job.
Thank you.
All right.
It's good to be back again.
Glad to have you back. And finally, before our discussion...
I think you broke during that Edna mode right there.
I was going to... Paul, you're not supposed to call it out. So I can just cut it and not have it be in Edna mode. Okay?
Or you could cut it and have it be in Edna mode.
Okay.
I liked it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. 2
Thank you,
stars.
Colin. I appreciate that. Thank you. I assume Bobo for doing that in mode. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, before we go, let's go ahead and everyone in chat can do their guesses for how many Edna modes we'll have. Their predictions for Edna modes. That's a fun game for you guys to do. So just 07 for Ashley. Okay. I'm curious. You guys just type in numbers. I'll read them out real quick. I'm just curious how many Edna modes you think we'll have. So we have one so far. We already did that. We already did what?
I'm going to say
19.
19. Yes.
Yeah. 4, Bobo. Thank you, Bobo. Thank
Wow.
you. 20, Stacy. 5, Star Fox. Thank you. I appreciate. We're really spanning the spectrum. Lesties 6. Okay. All right. Well, so you can keep those coming. Oh goodness gracious. Okay.
Yes, words are useless. Too much of it, darling. Too much.
I showed my kids The Incredibles for the first time last night. They both enjoyed it.
Oh, of course. It's
How can they not?
It's
Amazing
incredible. I mean,
Yeah, there you go.
It's in the name. Anyway, let's get back to this, guys. End of Edna mode.
All right.
1,356. Okay, I'm done. And finally, before our discussion of X2, we welcome back professional illustrator and designer Colin Schlicht. Colin, since this is your 3rd episode, you become an official member of the crew with the rank of shipman. Congratulations.
Oh, baby. Thank you
Now
so
we're putting
much.
you to work.
Of course.
Super
Now,
stoked.
what department of the ship would you like to serve in?
Oh, man. Yeah, well, do you have an art department? Do you have a music department? Do you have anything like that?
I think we have a marketing department, so you could do marketing.
A marketing department?
Well, yeah.
Sounds kind of boring.
Almost had him, Francisco.
We
You
don't
said yes.
have an art department per se, but you could do You could do art in the marketing.
Whatever. Yeah, put me wherever, man.
All right.
That's
call
fine.
him the art kitting guy.
Art kitting? Oh, because
Like
Mark. Oh my gosh.
You missed the arc on that one.
Well,
That's
I'll go to my room.
That'll
I'll
work.
go to my room.
we can talk more about it. We have some other people that are sort of still figuring out their roles. It's fine. That's fine. We can figure it out later.
Wow, he figured out his role and you denied him it, but let's go on.
So glad
He's
to hear,
like,
Colin.
that's a great role for me to poop on. That's what he said, right?
And congratulations to Colin and LJ for your promotions.
Yes.
All right.
Now that you have a semi-quick flyby of who we are, Paul, can you give us a quick rundown of the production specs for X2 X-Men United?
All right. X2 X-Men United was released May 2nd in 2003. It runs 14 minutes over to the 2-hour mark and is rated PG-13. It was directed by our good friend Brian Singer, who we haven't talked to in a while.
Oh, I wonder if he'll call in this time.
I hope so. Anyway, it was written by Zach Penn, David Haytner, and Bryan Singer, with lead stars being Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry. Sorry, Hale.
Hail Berry.
Didn't want you, Hale, to get all excited, figuring that he was in this movie when he's not.
Wow.
And music was composed by John Ottman. Are you ready for the box office trivia game?
I'm ready. LJ, Patch, and Colin, are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Yes.
And chat, feel free to join in. Okay, Paul, go for it.
X2 X-Men United was made for, get this, a whopping $120 million. That was the
so
budget.
high. Jeez. Back in 2003 too. Wow.
That's
Yeah.
lots of craft services is why that was so high. Lots of craft services for the team there.
Yeah, those Doritos, man. Anyway,
Wow.
it went on to earn over $440 million at the
Yeah,
box
it did.
office.
Yeah, it did.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
So given this and the fact that it was released theatrically in the year 2003, how high do you think it ranks in the box office among the movies released in 2003? We'll go for top 50.
Top 50. All right, let's start with Colin. What's your guess?
Let's go 10.
10. Patch, how about you?
I'm going to go one below that, 11.
11. LJ?
I'll say 8.
8. Almost Price is Right. For me, I think you guys are too enamored with this movie. I'm going to go with 20.
Oh.
And let's see, in chat we have a ton. We have 8 from Star Fox, 14 from Geek Devotions, 3 from Neko, 7 from Ashley. Let's see, 7 from Dale. I think those are them. Any others? 2 from Stacy. So Paul, where did it end up in the top 50 for 2003 movies?
All right. Was it Colin that said 10? And then Patch, you said you got to go one below that to 11?
Yeah.
You should have went one higher, and it was 9.
Oh.
So it was tied between Colin and OJ.
Yeah,
Nice.
Colin and Warjay.
Yes.
Good job.
I would
right.
have said 10, and then Colin said it, so I chose 8.
Okay. Nice
All right.
job, guys. But I think we all know it should have been in 20, right? Let's go.
It's a lot.
Thank you for those factoids, Paul. And let's see if any of them factor into our memory mind meld or subsequent roundtable discussion, which we'll get into once Alice has located our target film.
Alert, alert. Approaching target. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
They told us to stay here.
You always do as you're told? On May 2nd, it's X. I'm driving. Hey, maybe next time. 2, the extreme.
Got a talent, you have.
Somebody's angry. Why don't we get uniforms?
We're on order. Should arrive in a few years. Rated PG-13, May 2nd, only in theaters.
Yes, May 2nd, only in theaters. Cat licking claws. Lots of fun, maybe, or was it? But I mean, what do we remember about X2 really? Do we remember it exactly right? Or were there some things that weren't quite right in our memories? Well, we merged them together to give you our memory mind melt synopsis of X2, X-Men United. Nightcrawler does his best "now you see me, now you don't" impression. Wolverine has to leave to find his origin, while the other X-Men deal with kids wanting to take a new drug to be normal. When did being a waterbed become a mutant power? X-Men fight bad guy from Bourne Identity and his kid who is stronger than Professor X. No more mutants. No more mutants. Okay, you can have some. The day is won, but Jean doesn't survive the escape. Or does she? Yeah, some of that definitely happened in this movie, but some of it was decepted. In fact, I think someone thought that this was X3 or something. So strange. How do you get the two confused? But based on those memories, very flawed as they were, what rating did they lead you to predict before you rewatched this movie? Classic, nostalgic, or tragic? Let's start with Patch this time.
I went with classic.
Classic. LJ, how about you?
I went with nostalgic.
Nostalgic. Colin, what was your prediction?
I predicted a strong classic.
Okay, there's no strength in this, but okay, strong classic.
There's not. Okay.
No. Okay.
A Colossus size classic.
Gosh, covered in metal. Paul, what was your prediction?
I predicted a weak classic.
I predicted a pyro blazing nostalgic.
With an asterisk.
When did we attach adjectives to our?
I know we haven't. Well, Colin started it.
Yeah, I'm just going with the crowd, man. Jeez.
Sure did.
Let's see. Okay. Awesome, guys. Well, it'll be interesting to see if those predictions come true. But first, let's get into our discussion of the things we liked most about X2, X-Men United. Let's spin up our one and only best three things, though we're just going to do top two since there's 5 of us tonight. So they give us plenty to talk about. And if anyone mentions one that was on your list, feel free to add to it. But let's start tonight with Colin. What's one thing you really liked about X2?
One thing I really liked about X2, I think, is just the attention to detail throughout, like the Easter eggs and everything that are kind of dropped all through the film.
Can you give an example of
yeah,
Easter
sure.
egg?
Yeah,
like Jubilee randomly called out at one point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Magneto reading like Once and Future King, Sabretooth. Yeah.
What is Once and Future King? I meant to look that up, but I don't know what that is because at the end that's the one that
Professor X
is talking about. So what is that?
I'm not sure exactly, but the title relates to the character of Magneto, I think.
So it's a book by T.H. White, who was actually one of the Inklings related to J.R.R. Tolkien.
Oh, yes.
And it's essentially the Arthurian legend story in book form.
Oh,
it's a good book. It's really good.
Cool.
It's
really
awesome.
Good.
Exactly
Very cool.
what Patch said, totally. And then let's see, the Sabretooth cat in the museum, like Remy LeBeau's name comes up in the Stryker files.
Yeah,
and Hank McCoy.
Yeah, her.
Oh my gosh.
Hank McCoy on the news. And
I
all
know
that
Hank
stuff.
McCoy.
Yeah.
What was that last one? Did you say the Newsboys?
The Newsboys. He goes by Henry.
Yeah, on the news they have Hank McCoy on their Beast.
Oh,
and he's talking in an interview. Yeah.
It wasn't Kelsey Grammer though, right?
No, it wasn't him. No. It wasn't Frasier. No.
Frasier in beast mode.
Yeah, I thought that was all really cool.
So. Yeah. Okay, so all the Easter eggs, very cool. I honestly didn't notice that many, but I'm apparently not a huge comic person for the X-Men comics, even though those were some of the comics I did get as a kid. But let's go to. I don't know how to read. Thanks for pointing it out, Paul. LJ, were the Easter eggs or other things like that the thing that made your like list, or did something else really draw you in?
Something else, and it was the thing that I noticed after watching I watched the first one a few weeks ago just to kind of
fun
prepare myself for this one. And what I noticed, especially about this one, is that the costume work seemed so much better. Like the costumes seemed actually so much more comfortable and like realistic to like move around in, because like the first movie, it's almost kind of like the Batman, the Christopher Nolan Batman problem, how like that costume looked so uncomfortable in like the first movie, but then they iterated on it, and they did that in this movie. It looked like they iterated on the costumes, and they just felt more practical, and they just felt so uncomfortable in the first movie, and this time around that wasn't the case. And I just liked the costume design of a lot of the X-Men, and just it felt like it worked, and they made it work, and it seemed like they didn't have trouble like moving around in those costumes. So it was more of a small thing, but I was just like, you know what, that's very noticeable compared to the previous movie. So yeah, I did like that about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's lots of upgrades and stuff throughout. Like, I mean, the whole thing seems to be really like a level up. So
yes, yeah, they improved upon a lot of the design.
Bigger Dorito budget helped.
Yeah,
yes.
Wow, you guys in the craft services. Okay, let's go to Patch next. What's something you really liked about this film?
Well, something I remember liking initially, and it was just a good reminder watching it this time around, were the set pieces. There are so many well-crafted set pieces, not just craft service set pieces, but well-crafted set pieces.
That looked like the White House, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really starts with Nightcrawler. That opening sequence just really pulls you in. You've got a brand new character that you didn't see in the first entry, and it really kind of leaves you going, whoa, who else are we going to see? And going back to Colin's reference about some of the Easter eggs, we sort of got that throughout the film through those Easter eggs. But then you go into other sequences like at the museum, which is fantastic, showing off some of those, what I would consider pretty great special effects at the time. And even some hold up now. And then even leading into when Magneto eventually escapes his prison, the way in which he manipulates the metal by blowing it out of the security guy and then using it like bullets and then recrafting it as a disc and moving across. I mean, it really felt really awesome. Like you were creating a really fantastic balancing act. He was with the disc, but in terms of filmmaking, being able to balance kind of a pseudo realism with superheroics, because you can really, really lose that if you go overboard with one or the other. And if you don't establish that early as being balanced, then you're going to lose your audience. And I think when you see Nightcrawler in that opening sequence showing off that ability to not only just teleport, but also be strategic in that teleporting, that's what I thought was like a great setup for like, okay, these are the types of things we're going to see, not just X-Men powers on display, but strategically placed and strategically being used, using, you know, from the adults using it like practically to the kids, using them as pranks, like Firebird or whatever his name was. I couldn't remember his name. Pyro. Sorry. You know, just Firebird. Yeah, that's my X-Men name for him. Why not? But overall, I thought all of the set pieces really worked, and I think Bryan Singer did a fantastic job with his team in bringing together that real natural to super heroic balance to the film through these set pieces.
Yeah, weird. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna call.
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, hi guys. It's been a while.
Brian, how are you doing, Brian?
Yes, it's thank you so much. Hey, you know what? This is my favorite podcast, even though I haven't heard a single episode of you guys. But I love it when you cover my movies.
I mean, we appreciate that, Brian. It's funny that you would call right now.
Yeah,
I had a question for you.
Yes, please. What's going on? Got to make it quick. I'm a busy man. You know.
Okay. So the set pieces in X2, do you remember?
Yeah,
them?
I built them all by hand. Yes. What?
That's amazing.
Yeah,
what was your favorite one to build by hand, Brian?
The fridge where Wolverine gets the beer out. That was amazing.
I don't think you understand what a set piece is, but we gotta go to Brian. We don't want to use too much of your time. Thanks for being here.
Hey, do you have a beer?
Yeah, bye, Brian. Okay, so let's go next to Paul. What's something you liked about X2?
One of the things that Patch just mentioned, I thought there were parts of this film that were really smart, like taking putting the guy injecting him and having too much iron in his blood, and then Magneto being able to use that as a mean as an escape because it's made of metal.
I'm sorry, but how would they have liquefied iron? Wouldn't it have to be molten to be liquid?
In your blood. It's like little chunks of it. It's not liquefied.
So that whole thing wasn't iron. It was like little bits and some other
it's
like
kind of like sand coming together, but in a much smaller scale.
All right, fine. All right.
Right.
It's strange looking, but okay.
But it shows and it demonstrated how a lot of these mutants have these powers that can do amazing things with just simple things. They don't have to fly. I mean, just like Magneto taking out the pins of the grenades of the guys, in the hallway. It was just so brilliant and so simple. It's just very smart. So I loved seeing those kinds of nuances that you don't have to be showy, but it's a great demonstration of their power and how dangerous they could be.
Yeah. Not really related to that at all, but related to the danger element. The thing I liked before we get to our classic makers is, speaking of Pyro or Fireboy, what did you call him, Patch?
Firebird.
Firebird. So Firebird, aka Pyro, I was really impressed with the fire effects he had. I thought they still held up really well today. It looked like actual fire, not like PlayStation video game fire that you see in movies.
Watch it on the 4K screen.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
Sorry, Paul. I just upgraded to a 1080 recently. So sorry.
Paul flexing on the 4K.
No, well, what I'm saying is I saw the same thing, and that was the fire itself, but it looked fine. But when it was like the streams of it, that it didn't hold up for me.
Okay, that's fair. Well, for me, it did hold up. So
Cool.
if you just watch this on like a 480,
Right,
and you'll be
I'll watch it
great.
on my phone next time, like
Good.
5 feet away. I'm sure
Okay,
it'll
Across the room. Yep.
Exactly. Wow. Okay, guys. Well, apparently my like wasn't that great. What do you think of my classic maker? How about that? Which is, of course, Nightcrawler. I not only liked his set piece, but I really liked him as a character. I liked that he certainly was a had faith, was ostensibly a Christian or a Catholic or something like that. That was really cool to see. I really
Catholic.
all of the which this part I didn't get the whole like we got these not tattoos but the tracings or whatever from angels. I don't think that's biblical, but regardless, I thought that was a cool idea. And
scars. It's kind of like
scars.
flogging yourself for your
Yeah,
sin.
he made the scars. Yeah,
I thought it looked really cool.
Oh,
the
yeah.
designs of
Yeah,
them and
absolutely.
all that. And of course him in the beginning. It was awesome seeing him bamf around. Though closed caption people, it wasn't whoosh. He's not whooshing around. It's bamf. Get it right.
Oh yeah, Bamf is always associated with Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
agree. I thought Alan Cumming did a great job bringing that character to life.
Yep.
Crushed it. Absolutely. So that was my classic maker for X2. Paul, was that your classic maker as well, or something
So
else?
close.
Okay, so close.
And that is, I mean, besides seeing the cast returned, which is absolutely fantastic cast in this, I loved the faith exchange between Nightcrawler and Storm, using the anger versus faith, and then at the end using that faith to teleport away and into stuff. So I thought that whole dynamic was great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Absolutely. Let's go to Colin next. What was your classic maker?
Yeah, I had Nightcrawler as my classic maker, but then the White House breach was just, man, that thing is just such a banger still.
Yes.
Like, even I haven't seen this movie in so long, and when I saw it last night, I was just still like blown away by how like exciting it was, how engaging, and just like how well made it was. And there's a lot of crazy wire work and everything that happens in this film, but it actually works really well, and it's really cool to watch in that sequence because it shows how fast Nightcrawler is and all that stuff.
But is he faster than speeding bullets? That's one of the things that I enjoy that scene. That scene is one of the best original X-Men scenes, like across the 3 movies, like that intro. I agree with you but some of those shots, I was like, no, he would have went down.
Oh, like you're saying he's not fast enough to teleport away before the dog would hit him.
Exactly.
Okay, I could see that. Yeah.
They fired off 3 rounds before he bamfed out of there, and it's like, what? He didn't get hit? But anyway. That's me.
He was wearing a bulletproof vest.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe, but then why did he get hit at the end of that?
I don't know.
Oh, it wasn't on his back. Okay,
good question.
Right.
He wasn't paying attention.
Yeah,
I did wish they did more with his tail. But what about his scars, Patch?
They're made of Kevlar, so I mean he's fine.
Oh,
okay.
Of course.
Thank you.
We'll
Never
add
mind.
to the mythos of Nightcrawler for you boys. There's just a little tidbit there.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Then I
For
retract what I
vibranium.
said.
I mean, why not? Let's just.
There you go. Great scene.
Wow. Oh goodness. Okay, let's go with Patch. Apparently, he has something to say. What is your favorite part about X2?
I always have something to say, but in terms of my classic maker,
Let me guess. This whole movie from beginning to end was amazing and thrilling. There is no part at all that slowed down for you.
I bet he went back to my transcript on Jurassic Park. And I have no apologies for that. I will not apologize. I have
Do
said
not
this
apologize
before.
for that.
I believe
Pat.
I've said this on the show before, is that I love balance when it comes to any kind of film, especially when you have an
We're not
action
talking
adventure.
about the Karate Kid right now, Patch. This
Look,
is
Nightcrawler had
X2.
incredible balance. Nightcrawler had incredible balance during that set piece.
All right, fair enough.
But you have this, if you're a director and you're holding on to these characters and you're making a movie about them, the first thing you want to do is put them in a bunch of action.
Yeah.
And really, and look, I'm an unapologetic fan of the Fast and Furious franchise as a whole. I recognize its flaws and I recognize the ridiculousness of a good chunk of it. But at the heart of it is what I really latch onto, which is this idea of family. And I think what X2 does is it gives us pockets of where the story slows down and we get to understand motives from all these characters. Like there's this great conversation between Stryker and Xavier about what it means to rehabilitate someone and what Stryker sees, what Xavier sees as good, Stryker sees in a different way. They they interpret rehabilitation or re-education in different ways, and seeing the irony of that, where Stryker keeps X-Men close to his chest, and he says, "Yeah, as long as I can control them, they're good." So manipulating what's out there, not being a pure patriot of anti-mutants, but really being if I can control them, then they're good. But if not, let's just exterminate them. So having conversations like that, conversations with Xavier and Magneto, conversations with Magneto and Pyro, just all these different moments, even with Storm and Kurt and Nightcrawler, there are these, they allow for us to be able to really kind of attach ourselves to characters and, oh yeah, I definitely relate to this X-Man or this person or that.
Totally, yeah.
And depending on where we're at in our culture or where we're at individually and what we're kind of dealing with, sometimes we can be the William Stryker. We're like, yeah, you know what? Let's just burn it all down. We'll have that
Treadstone, baby. Blackbriar. Let's go.
Or we can, but I also like the fact that this movie allows us to be able to see a world of gray, not just Jean Grey, but gray, like the color, where we have yeah. So when you look at Magneto, we see him in the first film as he is the quote unquote bad guy, but is he? Because when we see a third character come in the form of William Stryker, now Magneto is more questionable. Are his motives really that disingenuous? And it's really interesting to see kind of a dichotomy of approaches to how the world is going to view mutants. It's not just, are they good? Are they bad? Are they useful? Are they not? Are they worth being around? Are they not? If you had the power to destroy, would you do that? Yes, no, maybe. And it really creates all these great questions that we ask. Of course, there's a lot of symbolism and metaphor in this that kind of allow for interesting discussion afterwards. But overall, I think having that balance of tone and not just letting it be all your favorite X-Men on the big screen doing crazy stuff that you want them to do, but having those moments where you're like, oh, okay, cool. It gives them agency. We understand why Nightcrawler is the way he is. We understand why Storm's the way she is. And I think among this trilogy, X2 does that the best.
I could see that. Yeah. I could see that.
And speaking of family, I choose the boy over you, Stryker. You're not my real dad.
the boy in the wheelchair?
The boy that he's carrying at the end in the snow. He's carrying I don't know why he's carrying that boy so long, just because he tripped. But
he
then
put him in the plane before going to see Stryker.
Yeah. But what if that boy could fly, Paul?
Oh, then they could both go. RetroRewindPodcast.com/whatever. Go search for Boy Who Could Fly.
Wow. Yes. Have sauceless spaghetti. Okay. Then that leaves LJ. What's your classic maker for X2 X-Men United?
Y'all touched on like the showcasing of the abilities and stuff like that. That was a big one for me. But I guess I have kind of something that kind of ties everything we've discussed together. So we talked about the showcasing of the abilities and set pieces and stuff, and I really liked it. This movie reminded me what became in the future, like the Wolverine movies and stuff, and just a lot of success came out of this movie, which was all the Wolverine movies and showcasing Hugh Jackman and his character actually like doing more, and showcasing Wolverine was really cool because that paves the way for a lot more. And despite my what will probably be one of my dislikes is other characters got the short end of the stick in my opinion.
Oh, they get as much screen time.
But like Wolverine,
like Cyclops.
Yes, yeah, that's foreshadowing to I'm a Cyclops fan. So
me too.
So and we'll talk about that later. But
Scott Summers.
It had me wanting to watch. There are issues with a lot of these movies, but it had me wanting to watch X-Men Origins again. It had me wanting to watch the Wolverine again and Logan. And it reminded me that like despite Hugh Jackman not being like this totally accurate version of Wolverine, like he made that character his own.
Totally.
And he like even so far into like when I think of like the video games that they made off of him, like they had this X-Men Origins game and that it played so much like that scene in the movie. Especially one of the most iconic scenes in that movie to me was the school invasion when he just kind of like let loose, and 100%. I was like they watched this one scene and just made a video game out of it. Like that was it reminded me of how well Hugh Jackman did Wolverine for them to make all this other stuff off of it. And I was like, that's cool. But again, that added to the set pieces y'all were talking about, like when he finally shows up to the base and sees where the adamantium came from and stuff like that. When he starts to discover his past more, like there was so much that came out of this story that they wrote for him. And as much as I would like to see characters like Cyclops shine a little more, like they did such a good job with Hugh Jackman and stuff like that. So that at the end of the day, despite my grievances, that was indeed my classic maker for this movie.
Cool.
It got me excited to watch these movies again, even though I'll probably cringe during X-Men 3. But
it does sound to me, LJ, that it's almost like these X-Men movies, the first three, X-Men, X2 and X3. What's the extra line of like the final battle or something?
The Last Stand.
The Last Stand. Thank you. Thank you. It seems like with them, they are, now that you mentioned that, they are very Wolverine centric, and it feels like less of a team effort. I mean, it's almost like with, I think, Mission Impossible. I never really watched the show, but from what I understand, it was the whole team. It wasn't just Ethan Hawke. I assume that's the guy from the show.
Ethan Hawke is an actor. Done. Disconnected.
Okay, you know what? Leave me alone, Firebird. Okay, Ethan Hunt.
Well, that hints at one of my dislikes. So
okay, well then
foreshadow.
Okay, yeah, I'll leave it there. I think it would be cool if there's more of a team effort or team centric.
You're right though. There are definitely characters. Yeah, we've already mentioned that, but yes, they do definitely feel Wolverine centric in a lot of ways.
Well, can I tack onto that, since Paul totally kind of demolished my classic maker?
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm like, this is great, and he's like, yeah, but you get the bullet thing, and it's just like, come on, man.
Go for it, Colin.
No, I'm playing, man.
Yeah, but Paul. Yeah,
but. Yeah, I just wanted to say that the kitchen scene with Wolverine, we can't let this slide.
Good,
dude.
That is really good. Yeah,
I'm not talking about Iceman. We're gonna get to that later. I'm talking about just the part where he just takes that guy up against the fridge and has that like that big like primal scream in his face, and and then
that was good. That was good too. Yes.
Yeah.
And then the body comes down. You see the claw marks in the back of the fridge, like through the steel fridge.
I missed that. Oh, okay, cool,
dude. Oh yeah,
Iceman just behind the counter going, "Whoa!"
Yeah, it's like, wow, this dude's brutal. Yeah, so that part gets me every time too.
Oh, see, I like the quiet moment between to some Patrick was saying between Wolverine and Bobby Iceman.
When he iced up the Dr. Pepper.
I mean, that was cool. Yeah. But I just like that they're connected.
Who put soda in the cupboard?
Like, you gotta make room for the chocolate milk and juice boxes.
Yeah. No kidding. There's no beer in the fridge.
This is a school.
Yeah.
And adults live there. Stop it.
Maybe they're trying to like moderate the sugar intake. I don't know.
Yeah. Not with chocolate milk in the fridge, dude. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah,
right. That's a good point.
Let's keep it real.
Beer's a natural diuretic, so I mean, you can drink beer and pee and you know,
it's fun. It's good for you.
Yeah. Why do you think Wolverine drinks so much beer? He's stout, man.
And he also has the immune system of a crazy person. It doesn't get drunk on command. What's the point, bro? It tastes good. No, it doesn't, Wolverine. It does not taste good.
Yeah.
It's an acquired
Regardless,
taste.
guys, we're
Just
not
like
talking about
mutants.
this. Isn't a beer and movies discussion. Let's move on. We have to get to the things that we
Podcast,
don't.
There's no beer. We already established that.
That we don't like, except now that I'm looking at my notes.
We're at the part where we do like, not our dislikes. But
I know. I thought, but we are done, and I thought we could move on, but no. Of course, as is my standard, apparently, I forgot something. Yes, I know. It's a big surprise to everyone that I forgot Spirit Blade Productions. Since 2006, Peter Franson has been operating Spirit Blade Productions to create entertainment and resources that equip, encourage, and inspire Christian geeks. And soon after starting this indie studio, Peter expanded to include a ton more content and community under the banner of Christian Geek Central. I am personally a big fan of what Peter is doing, and you can join me in supporting him on Patreon so that we can help keep this ministry going and growing. Not to mention, your support can unlock fun rewards for you to enjoy. Head over to patreon.com/Spirit Blade Productions for all the details.
That sounds more like an ad than a like for X2. What does that have to do with X2?
He's reviewed some of the X-Men movies.
Oh, okay. So go check out Spirit Blade Productions for his reviews of the X-Men movies?
Sure. We'll do that. Okay. Oh my gosh, Navi. All right, fine, Paul. I guess it's not technically a like of X2. Though
No, I didn't think so. Okay. I thought something went over my head.
No, it did not. But how about, would you like some trivia about X2?
Let's get
Would that
the
work
trivia.
better for you?
Yes,
Okay, all
please.
right. Then let's do that. Did you all realize that initially during the Dark Cerebro scene, where it is attempting to kill all the mutants, director Bryan Singer had planned to show not only Cerebro's effect on the mutants in the Alkali base, but mutants all over the world. During this scene, Hank McCoy, aka Beast, played in this film by Steve Bakich, as seen.
Frasier.
No, he was seen on the television screen. I think we talked to him, and he was going to be shown in agony, transforming into his furry form. And fan favorite Gambit was to be shown at a card game, having his energy powers flare up.
So was that supposed to be played by that one guy? Who was supposed to play him?
I don't know, mon chéri.
No, it's the big guy from that dancing movie. You know, my name is Jeff.
Channing Tatum was supposed to play him.
Oh,
Channing
yeah, Channing
Tatum?
Yeah,
my
Channing
goodness.
Tatum.
That is fantastic. Okay. Or they could cast me with my perfect Cajun accent. Anyway.
Sure. Van Damme.
I'm just going to ignore that.
He talked away for the rest of the show.
I could if you would like to do, but
Please stop. No, stop. I had the bad idea. Don't do that. Yeah.
I mean, if we wanted to hear what you sounded on the potty, don't want to do that. Okay, please.
Welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party where it's poop time.
Stop it with all you know.
I'm the potty pooper.
Anyway, back to the Gambit. This scene was actually shot using one of Hugh Jackman's stuntmen, James Bamford, as a stand-in for the role.
Wait, they have a guy named Bamford, but they couldn't use Bam?
I was waiting for somebody to make that joke.
It was shot from behind to remain ambiguous. For whatever reason, though, Singer decided to cut the sequence altogether, and it remains unseen. So that's the trivia. It leads me to ask you guys, though, what one X-Men, like from the comics or cartoon or wherever, do you wish was in either of Bryan Singer's X-Men movies? I guess you could also lump in Days of Future Past if you'd like to also. But yeah, X-Men or X-Men 2 is what I'm thinking.
Got a lot of good ones.
So
Gambit, for sure.
Gambit, yeah. That would have to be mine as well. I love Gambit.
Yeah, because that way there'd be no relationship between Bobby and Rogue. Like,
tell me about
Good
it.
Lord, dude.
Maybe we'll get there in a bit.
Oh, there's no maybe about it, bro. Like, it's happening.
Kissy.
Paul, how about you? Who would you want to see? So
I don't
Gambit for me
know
and
because
Colin.
they got like my favorite X-Men is Kitty Pryde, and she was featured in this and in the next one, and so I don't know. They chose a lot of ones. I'm still thinking.
Okay. How about Patch?
I've always been a fan of Hank McCoy Beast, and I think that's been somewhat of a tragedy with the entire X franchise. Is that
you didn't like either?
I didn't. I mean, his character, his costume design, or the way in which he was designed, just did not. I love Kelsey Grammer, Frasier. That was a terrible fit for me for X3. And then the way the character was fine in I guess the prequels, but I did not like the way he looked at all. So, it's go ahead.
Yeah, let me ask you a question about that. So, I'm trying to think about how they would do that better. So, like, just say for the MCU or something like that, when they finally introduce X-Men, would you want it to be like? Would you want it to be like mocap or something, or like?
Well, yes, absolutely, because I think that
you don't like the Muppet version.
So it's two halves. One, you've got to be able to, like, for instance, one of my favorite series is the Planet of the Apes, the new Planet of the Apes series. It's fantastic. Yeah. And part of the reason why is Andy Serkis's performance, mocapped in the facial expressions. The other half of that is what I think the creators behind Sonic the Hedgehog realize, is that make your character look like the comic book. But what's that?
I said that's with Cyclops.
Oh my God.
It is, but what I'm saying is that with digitized characters that are covered in fur, like Sonic or Beast, it's a slippery slope, because if you watch the 90s X-Men, that Beast character looks pretty good, but he's up against other cartoon characters, so it doesn't look as odd. You put a blue colored animal next to Hugh Jackman, he's gonna look stupid by default. So how do you make him look a little bit less like that? I would mocap him, and then I would spend a lot of time really looking at the comic books to see, okay, what are his features? What are the things that stand out besides the fact that he's blue? Glasses. And well, I mean, in all honesty, Paul, I think, you put some glasses on him, but don't make him like the grandpa glasses. Make him look like a scientist. It's a challenge for sure. I'm not knocking the attempt. Well, I am knocking the attempt, but I get I get the challenge behind that, because it's really difficult to bring a character in that's not going to be. I mean, you can see the believability of a Nightcrawler because they don't have fur. I think fur is what's
the fur
really
thing and the size and everything, and
just it's a lot to try to overcome, especially when you're doing live action. So I think starting with mocap would be a great start, and then taking your cues from the Planet of the Apes. Watch how he moves in the cartoons. Watch how the comic books portray him, and then see if you can create maybe a combination of practical and digital effects to really bring that to life with the mocap.
Yeah, like Taika Waititi and Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's definitely possible.
Well, even with the Snyder Cut of Justice League, I love the way that they read that the original, the new design of I can't remember the lackey's name, not Darkseid, of course, but
Steppenwolf.
Thank you, Steppenwolf. Loved his character design.
Looks better.
You're talking about a guy. You're talking about a character that looks different than human beings or gods that look like humans.
Yeah.
But of course, that was more believable because of the fact that you had this godlike character fighting godlike characters in the form of Superman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman. So you find as much like common ground to bring a character up to realism, to the world that they're trying to create. And I think Beast is a challenge, because he is very much a cartoon character by default. And when you put him next to guys wearing like real outfits and stuff that you're trying to take seriously, it's such a challenge. So to answer your question, I would love to see a properly done, matured out, designed Beast.
Yeah. I mean, and they should also, I think you're bringing up lots of awesome references, Patch. I think they should also reference the 1991 version, probably not the 2017 version, though.
Of Beast? I don't know.
I see he's smiling. I'm like,
that went way over my head. That's less than 15 years or older, so I don't know what you're talking about.
So I got a kick out of my own joke. That's a reference to Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, that one.
As old as time.
Exactly.
Swing and a miss.
No, that was a home run. You just didn't see it.
You know what, though? Somebody
I bamfed that ball out of the park.
At least you enjoyed your joke.
I did enjoy that joke.
That's a punch out right there.
Anyway, so that leaves Paul still and LJ. Let's go to LJ. Who would you like to have seen of your X-Men that you enjoy?
I had to, the one I thought of just because thinking if they were going to focus on Wolverine more in other ones, or maybe in the future, maybe if MCU gets a hold of him. I'd like to see Omega Red. I think that'd be really cool.
Oh, is he the one with the sword, the samurai sword?
He's the octopus guy.
No,
he's the Russian guy that has like the tentacle things.
Right. Yes. Yeah, that's yes. Okay, I'm merging the two in my head, but yes, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, Omega
Red, like the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah.
Yes. I think that would be a really cool villain for them to get, like a Wolverine villain.
Definitely.
I don't know how it could have worked in these movies in particular, but it someday that would be a really cool character to see on screen.
Nice. And Paul, that leaves you.
You know, I've been thinking they've done. I mean, between all the movies, they've done so many. Like between.
Yes, but which would you like to have seen in these first two movies? Even if
you know what? I would have liked to see a better use of Angel, because he's an originator of X-Men.
Oh yeah.
So
he's in the original X-Men. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and what they did with the character, it doesn't even compare with what they did with the comics. Yeah. And I like Ben Foster, the guy who played Angel in one of the iterations. He's a great actor, but unfortunately, what they did with the character just doesn't live up to his character.
All right. Well, that's fair. That's fair, Paul. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be rad, because that would leave Archangel like options for that, and then that's just so awesome too.
Totally.
Yeah. Anyway, we're making you mad by going so long about talking about this.
That's okay. Great trivia, Francisco.
You don't like me when I'm angry.
Or hangry. Anyway, I have the answer to our previous audience question, if anyone's interested, and that was, what's your favorite airplane?
You know what?
Why don't we share who answered correctly?
Yeah, Edna mode. See, we're not doing too bad tonight. We're only at 2. I always forgot something.
It's okay.
Let me get it here.
Can you grab a
re-record? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Out of the cupboard.
No.
Right. Wait, you have beer?
Yeah, in the fridge, like a normal person.
Whoa.
Yeah, I prefer the root of the beer.
Oh, there you go. That's good too.
Trio.
We're waiting.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't like dead air, and neither a lot of people do. So I'm just trying to.
Hey, I said 4. I have faith. Thank you. Thank you for that,
I'll ask
Bobo.
you a bunch of questions. Have them answered immediately.
Okay, let me put this in here.
Who is your daddy, and what does he do?
Hey, me and Patch are just going to talk about, Beast and Mocap and.
I was going to throw another jab and say Cyclops should have been in these movies.
Shots fired.
Oh, man.
I should have. I thought of it and I didn't execute on it. But
Get down! Shots fired!
Yeah.
I wish that they made his. I wish they made his visor gold, like in this one.
That would be cool. Yeah.
You know, like still the same shape and everything is fine. Looks good on his face, but like if they were an actual gold. Yeah. It's cool. I just think that was an opportunity to have a nod to the comics and the cartoon and everything like that, because they already did the gray one in the first movie. So and this one I think it'd be kind of cool to upgrade a little bit, but.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be shiny and like, oh, that stands out. It could have been a dark gold. Yeah,
exactly. Like matte gold.
All right. So now we're good. Here we go. End of mode. Thank you all for being here still through this.
There's people still here? Wow.
There are still people here. Amazing. Don't forget.
Thanks for hanging out.
You can get one of these awesome. You get to pick among all these awesome X-Men portraits that I'm pointing to right here. We're doing an auction right now.
Oh my gosh, it's so small.
It ends in 1 hour. Well, go to the link that the Bautissimo puts in chat every so often. You can.
Okay.
That'll go to the streamloots page, and there is also a link that you'll have to copy and paste. But in the description, you can go see the bigger versions that this awesome person that way, Colin Schlicht, did. He's done all the X-Men a lot of the X-Men characters, and they're really, really awesome.
Hey, so Colin, is there an X-Men character you haven't done that you kind of like wish you could, or like you want to?
Yeah, I have a whole list of them to go. Yeah, for sure.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is an
Cool.
ongoing thing, and I've got
Awesome.
like to make a big poster out of it someday, and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
That's
Very cool.
Nightcrawler's next on the list.
I
didn't have enough time. Yeah.
No worries. Oh yeah, because you're trying to have it ready for this.
Yep. But he's next on the list.
Very cool. Kevin, it's the current highest bid is $25, so you'd have to go. You could go $26.
Maybe he's bidding $1 over the highest bidder.
Maybe we'll go to the link that will show up here. It's every 7 minutes, so you won't have to wait long to see it. But and then go make your bids. Anyway, okay. End of
All right,
edna
so
mode.
they have to
Wait for it.
Yeah. Paul, will you say because I shouted over you accidentally.
Hey,
what is your favorite airplane?
What is your
And then continue.
favorite airplane? Oh, you want a different take? Okay.
End of
Great
edna mode. Go.
You sure? Great trivia, Francisco. And I have the answer to our previous audience question, which again was, what is your favorite airplane?
Ooh. Okay.
We had an answer from Ken. Is that Kennethan?
Yeah, that is kind of thing, yes.
Okay. And he says, of course it would be a Boeing B-17. There are tons of great airplanes, and more recent is the 787. So there you go.
I forget it. So he's a aeronautical engineer. I forget if I don't think he's worked on the B-17, but I think he might have been working on the 787. But very cool, Ken.
Maybe I should ask him if a DeLorean looks like an airplane without wings, because I've yet to meet anybody who even thinks that. It's so ridiculous.
It looks like an airplane without wings.
What does it?
Anyway, much better that old farmer guy than a striker. Anyway, so
here is
very cool.
This. All right, fine. I'll tell him you can. Now, here is this episode's listener question. What is your favorite X-Man or X-Woman or X-Person?
So I've been curious about this. Is X-Men for this context still singular, or do you say X-Man or X-Woman?
Whatever you want.
Crickets?
Man.
All right,
Maybe
fine. We'll just go with whatever. How about that?
To, be derogatory as you wish.
Awesome. So regardless of your derogatory answer, send those answers to trivia@retrorewindpodcast.com by the time we record the next episode, which usually gives you a week and a couple days. Though if you're watching here live, you have plenty of time to send your answers, probably more like on the order of 2 weeks. But now that we have all had some trivial fun, let's find out what memories you, our awesome rewinders, had about X2 X-Men United. Aaron Huey says, oh no, it's 2000? Retro? Is 2000 retro now? Yes, it is.
Crazy.
Yeah. Stanley Wright says, Wolverine owns this movie. My favorite scene is where they tell him to drop the knives, and Wolverine says, I can't.
That is a good scene.
Yeah.
Drew Dodgen says, the opening with Nightcrawler in the White House is one of the best film openings ever made.
Agreed. The Dapper Man says, it's one of my favorite. Do you want to try this again or no? With your accent, Francisco?
No, I don't want to.
Okay, we won't embarrass him.
I think you're embarrassing yourselves.
It's one of my favorite. He says it's one of my favorites besides X-Men First Class and Days of Future Past. It was
nice.
I was actually disappointed at the time they didn't have Wolverine as in the comics, shorter and bulkier, like 5'9", Canadian. Yeah, where did his accent go, eh? But he goes on to say, this film sold Hugh Jackman as a 6'3" Australian and as Wolverine people wanted to see in films. It was fun, although my mom watching it with us kept repeating as we watched it, this is PG-13? We kept shushing her as we kept watching. Little did she know how increasingly violent movies would push the rating system. Yeah, this guy goes like full berserker in the hallway. I was kind of shocked there myself, which was good, I thought.
So
that's how the character is.
If she watched it today, she probably like, this is PG-13. It's not G.
No, Mom, Logan's R.
Dustin Warford says, of all the X-Men movies, this is my favorite. The opening scene with Nightcrawler, Berserker Wolverine in the school, the Colossus tease, the X-Men and the Brotherhood team up, and the Phoenix tease at the end. I thought this was the perfect X-Men movie.
Wow, such high praise. Ryan R. Jackson says, an awesome movie. I've often wondered what happened to the Statue of Liberty piece of crown that Wolverine cut off.
I assume it's just in the ocean. I guess they could have repaired it.
That was from the first movie, but yeah, they never explained what happened to it in the second movie.
They did not. Stephen Hamilton says, I love it when Iceman instantly cools down the Dr. Pepper. I also like Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah, that takes some skill to cool it just right without breaking the glass.
Or to freeze the water in the liquid inside, yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's done that before. John Harju says, I remember being incredibly disappointed when I found out that Glenn Danzig wasn't cast as Wolverine.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, and maybe that's also referring to the first movie. I don't know.
Maybe. Reed Benson closes out our memories by saying, nope, he doesn't. Edna Mode again, because I forgot.
He doesn't say, this movie.
PolitiPowers.com had some Instagram posts here.
Oh, you want to add more? We had more feedback. Hold on to your seats.
Was there that person promoting that one series? Oh, you can.
Oh, yeah.
That
almost every time.
Oh, my gosh.
If you want more spam, go to pauljpowers.com.
Right.
No, go to my Instagram.
Exactly. I was going to say, not your website, really.
Yeah. I purposely don't have ads there.
Whoa.
But you have to click into it, even though it says it's unsafe. It's not unsafe.
Oh, yeah, because you have a secure one. That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for your patience as I do this real quick. Semi-quick. Stop copying the like and reply button. I don't need those.
Wait for
Killing
it.
me, Smalls.
Stop it. Do it. Gosh. Come on, do it now.
I'm trying. It's not working like I want.
I would say get to the chopper, but it left. Instead, we got to get to the X-Jet.
Oh, my goodness. A raid from the Infinity Brothers. Thank you so much, guys, for the raid. We're currently in the middle of reviewing X2 X-Men United. We're almost to our dislike section, so things might get spicy here in a little bit.
You don't want to tell them that we're in the middle of an
Edna mode.
Yeah,
it wasn't officially stated, but
I thought I did. Did I not? Edna mode. I thought I could have sworn I said it, but maybe not.
Hey, one thing I already like about X-Men.
No capes.
I guess there's
Magneto. Magneto has one.
Oh yeah, Magneto.
Oh yeah, that's true. I was about to say Storm and all the other.
Yeah, they don't really in this one.
Yeah.
Wait, Storm.
Anyway, Storm's got some capes. She's got 2 capes.
Oh.
One
in
hanging
the movie?
from each arm. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, so you just did John Harju. Okay, let me go back. End of Edna mode. Cater Tot 5 says opening scene with Nightcrawler was maybe the best of the series.
Yeah,
agreed.
Jawari says an Aussie with a bad American accent from Canada. I didn't think he had a bad accent, but okay.
I didn't think so either. And then Reed Benson closes out by saying, "Oh, this movie. This may be the first movie that was ever ruined for me by other people hyping it up too much. By the time I saw it, I was either expecting too much or was already hardened against it out of spite of being told I had to see it. Aww. Thus, it's really hard for me to judge it on its own merits. I also don't think X-Men movies hold up as well as I expected them to. So let's talk about the things that we don't think held up well in X2 X-Men United. Let's bring up our... Worst 3 things, worst 2, since we have a full crew complement here tonight. So let's start this time with LJ. What's something you didn't like about X2?
Okay, the one thing that totally stuck out to me, it's so small, but it was so significant, was whenever the brother goes to call the cops.
I hate that brother so much. Oh my gosh.
Not necessarily him, but when he gets off the phone right away, the camera pans to his computer where there's like the news on or something. Okay. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, could you even do that back then on a computer like that? Like, I don't know. It took me out of it because I even rewound it to be like, okay, is that just a CRT or or is it like a computer? But then you look and you see there's like the mouse and everything right there. I was like, wait a minute.
A plugin that you had to have the right.
No, Paul. No, it does not work.
Wait, you know what, guys, let's ask Brian Singer. Let me call up Brian. Maybe he has a good answer for this. Ring, ring.
Hey, hello, this is Brian Singer. Yes, who is this?
Oh, Brian.
I wanted my pizza a half hour ago. You guys are late. What's going on?
Oh, sorry. This isn't the pizza delivery place. This is Francisco from the Retro Rewind podcast.
You guys again. I already talked to you guys. What's going on? You have my pizza?
I will ask about your pizza here in a second, Brian. But I have to ask you a question about. Do you remember in X2 that scene with the brother? He was on his computer after calling the police on Iceman.
Oh yeah, because he thought his brother was gay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So on the computer, he was watching TV. But was that even a possibility back then?
Yeah. Can't you see it's on the film? It's right there. I say action and it goes. I let my people do their thing. I do my thing, and I make millions of dollars. Do you have my pizza or not?
Yeah, I have your pizza.
Okay, good. I'll see you in 5 minutes or less. Bye-bye.
Okay, Brian. Thanks for that. I guess I deserve that. I hung up on him earlier. All right. So, LJ, that's a very fair thing not to like about
it just stuck out to me. Like it was so like it just kind of took me out of it for a sec that I had to rewind and make sure like, wait, did I just see that? So
yeah,
it's dumb and nitpicky, but still.
Something very similar that took me out of the movie, and we commented on this in our like section. It was you guys mentioned how it's so cool that Magneto's taking all this iron concentrate out of this guy and just eviscerating him from the inside out. Now, I agree. That was cool. That was a cool like strategy and way to get iron to Magneto. However, I have a cast iron skillet. That thing touches any water, it rusts immediately. So the human body, which is composed of a lot of water, an iron comes out, it's not going to be all silvery, it's going to be rust, like the surface of Mars. So get out of here with your silver balls, Magneto.
Okay. Your body has, I think I've read this online, so it's got to be true, but everything from your body has every element in it, even like small traces of like poisonous stuff. Like if you had more, it would go out of balance and you would die. Mm-hmm. So iron is one of those things that's in your body. But you're saying, no, we do not have iron in our body. We have rust because it cannot exist in there.
No, because once it oxidizes, it has to have water and oxygen and be exposed to oxygen, I think.
So are you looking at like iron skillets just standing there in the oxygen, not wet, going, hey, you're rusted because you're touching oxygen.
If it gets wet, it does rust. That just happens.
What supplements can you take to get more rust in your body?
It pretty much rusts right away. I have to oil it every time I cook with it so that it doesn't rust. That's how you take care and season a cast iron skillet.
Do you ever cook with it and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't cook because every time the water touches the oxygen and the grease, it turns to rust and my food gets all rusty.
No, but if you leave it out, it does rust, is what I'm saying.
How long?
Long enough, it doesn't matter.
For Magneto to extract it and use it.
It's not going to be silver, is what I'm saying. It's science, guys.
It's science. Okay, so if you're going to science the crap out of this conversation, let me just say this. Let's assume that there was a 12-hour period between when dude gets butt shot in the bathroom and when he goes in to handle his business. Yes. Also, we're not talking about just water in the body. There's chemicals and stuff. And so I'm going to go off the assumption that smart people like Magneto, who know science, are probably going to have the injection filled not just with iron, but also with some stuff that might be able to solidify it, neutralize it, or whatever, and not activate until a certain period of time. So,
and possibly prevent rusting upon impact of oxygen.
I would say that, because unless this guy's going to cook pancakes on his belly, then I think it's fine.
Oh my God.
I think it's fine.
It's like
I think it's fine.
There's like Crisco in there.
There's somebody that's got to have that as a superpower, or they make their body iron and they can just cook off of themselves.
Sure. Yeah. Like Iron Man. He was Iron Man for 12 hours, and then he became Holy Man at that point.
You know what, Patch? Why don't you tell me what was holy about this film? As in, how is it full of holes?
Oh,
It wasn't Jurassic Park. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
No, I will say this. So the film itself had so many great characters. We start off with Nightcrawler. We get introduced to little hints of Colossus. We get the Easter eggs. And yet, for my money, for my preference, some of our focal point was on these two teenagers that I really don't have much of an investment in. And it may be because
which two teenagers was that, Patch?
Oh, I believe that was Firebird and Icicle. These two guys that metaphorically, that's kind of cool. Fire and ice.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, one of them's a little bit superior to the other. Let's be honest. And
Firebird annoyed me so much. I was like, drop the dang lighter or put it in your pocket or something.
Yeah. So I get
I
get the teen angst about it, and I think that's a fair thing to put in a film where you're centering at least part of the movie around a school for gifted children.
Right.
But at the same time, if they're a subplot that you're following, I don't really care much about. I mean, like, my family lives in Boston, and Wolverine goes, great. And now that was the reason that you go, why are you going home? What's the point?
Because
I still don't think
that
I get
was
it.
near where Storm and...
No. Yeah, sure. I just think that it felt a little dumb because what it did was the movie itself was already making a pretty decent point about different people and not discluding, creating inclusion. Again, I mean, whether you agree or disagree with that line of thinking, it's effective throughout most of the film. But then you get this kind of intimate conversation that sort of reinforces it, which leads to the really bad brother looking at the newscast on a monitor that it shouldn't be broadcasting on. And what it does is it creates this entire scene that I just don't seem as necessary. You can get from where they were to where they went to without going home and creating a little moment here. I didn't care that the parents didn't care. Right. And I think it was just sort of added fluff that wasn't necessary. Yeah. And I think the bigger picture for me is that these two characters that represent something aren't representative enough for me to care about them beyond just their symbolism. So I didn't like them as much in this one.
That's a great point, Patch. I almost would have rather seen more of them either being friends and getting divided as almost like as an echo or a parallel with Charles and Magneto. I think that would have been cool to like play off that dynamic as opposed to exactly what they did. It seemed very wasteful. But
so they could be united again by the end, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Or but they wouldn't have been united, right? Because Pyro goes off to Firebird goes off to be with Magneto and the Brotherhood of Mutants.
Yeah, they're ununited.
But I think it still would have been. I would have liked to see them play with that more than again, like you said, Patch, the focus they went with. So I can totally approve of that. Let's go to Colin next. What's something you didn't like or you disapproved of for X2?
Okay, so 2 dislikes this time, right? Or just one?
One, and then you're a Tragic Maker.
One and then Tragic Maker?
Yes.
Okay, aside from Logan's hair sometimes, I didn't like.
It's like the comic book, though, isn't it?
Not as much. It needed to stand up more if you want the comic.
They made it messy, but like in a way that made it look like the comic kind of.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Like sometimes it looked really cool. Like when he's talking to Stryker at the end, it looked really good. And then when he has that green shirt on, which was almost my Tragic Maker for the film, dude, it was like it just looked funky and didn't look right. But anyway, that's just a little nitpicky thing. But okay, so the tornado thing. And then the
where the planes are swerving between them.
Yeah, and the Blackbird is crashing.
Yeah.
There's a whole forest beneath them, right? Help me understand this. So there's a whole forest underneath them. How did they crash right above Magneto and Mystique in the bottom of the forest? Like, how did they get to that?
Magneto was
guiding them down
like a tractor.
Probably because he stopped
the whole time.
Not the whole time, but it was conveniently coming towards their direction anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. So out of the entire forest, it's convenient, even if they're in like a couple square miles of it. It's pretty wild. But then go ahead, Francisco.
Well, that just makes me wonder. You know, I'm curious. I feel like I almost feel like modern military jets. Oh, actually, I think I know someone who might know this. Dang it, who isn't here right now?
I thought you were going to call Brian Singer again.
That's what I thought
no.
too.
Well, okay, now Edna mode, because I feel like I want Patch to weigh in on this because I think he might actually know the exact answer to this based on his line of work.
Okay.
But he,
I've got something else to say about it.
Okay. Oh, then
hold that thought.
Yeah.
I'll
let
hold
me.
it.
Well, I don't
We're
want
in-
to
we're in Edna
interject.
mode, so.
Yeah.
We're in Edna mode.
Yeah, we're in Edna mode now, so I'm determining whether to go ahead and. You were just talking about the jet going down, and we were talking about how it didn't, how it could have worked, but then you had another thought about that. Okay, so let me let you have your thought, Colin, and then I'll talk
go back and
we'll go back a little bit. Yeah,
I think Patch will get a kick out of it if he's here, though.
Okay.
All right.
Then,
So
then,
we'll wait.
no, we'll wait. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll
If
go
we
mix
don't
a
have-
drink. I'll go mix a cocktail. Well,
Oh, you got any beer?
we got
Root
beer.
beer?
It's in the fridge.
I'm sorry.
yeah,
This is a podcast.
Oh,
You can't
okay,
give it
sorry. No,
across
the
stream.
root beer is in the cupboard.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Pepper in the cupboard.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're right, Ashley. If we don't have any more Edemos, then yes, Baba has this locked down, and there won't be any more anymore. Patch, so we're actually waiting for you because I was going to bring up something that I realized, you might have some expertise in, but we're going to let Colin finish the thing he didn't like, and then I'll chime in, and then if you have something to add, I'll kick it to you, and you can say, I actually have no idea, or yeah, this is exactly right, Francisco, which if you just want to lie to me and say I'm exactly right, go for it. So end of Edna mode, back to Colin, finish your thought.
Yeah, so Magneto catches the Blackbird, and but then Wolverine is kind of leaning over and like looking. There's no way that he would be able to move because he's metal, so he would just be like stuck there, you know. And so I don't know why they didn't pay attention to the fact that he's made of metal, basically, because Magneto can do whatever he wants to.
He
Wolverine,
was only attracting the metal of the plane, not adamantium. He can separate what metals he wants to hold.
Since when? I've never heard of anything like that. Really?
Yeah.
Didn't you see the same movie I saw? That's obviously what happened.
So he can pick what metal.
Yeah.
No.
I thought he could only do iron, like ferrite, like that has magnetism to it. Really?
Yeah.
Then why doesn't he?
Adamantium. He can
Well,
do
yeah,
anything metal.
Yeah, because
But
he sucks the adamantium out of Wolverine's body in the comics, you know, and that's how he gets bone claws. And so, and then in the first movie, remember in the first movie on the train where he's holding up Wolverine?
Yeah.
You know?
And that didn't make sense to me either because I thought it was just iron that he could manipulate, but I guess not.
No, I would agree with Paul that part of Magneto's power is his ability to harness not just certain types, but the level. So
right, it's like when he was able to focus just the guns and their metals in the first movie, not all like the handcuffs and everything, or lift up just the police cars. You can focus on certain objects.
Okay, so
he's not like an electromagnet that just chaotically propels stuff.
That's fine, but you're telling me that the main big bad of X1 and Liberty Island, and he's facing off with Wolverine, this beast, right? This like berserker rage guy, and he's in the jet that he's got upside down, basically, and you're not going to restrain him, like at all?
No, he's not a problem at that point.
Oh, come on. He's Wolverine. Maybe this Wolverine's not a problem, but the comic Wolverine would be a problem.
We'll get into that later.
Okay.
Anyway,
well,
little nitpicky. That went on way longer than I thought it would.
No worries. Totally fine. Let's go next.
Sorry, I spoke over Patch there. You waited all that time to ask Patch a question, and
Paul,
I guess you never got to it.
No, dang it, Paul. Why
did I pick another Edna? I don't know.
Yes, because you guys already answered my question. I was gonna say, wouldn't the Blackbird not be made of like iron?
I was just trying to apologize for Patch for ruining his evening.
Oh my gosh!
I forgive all of you.
Geek Devotions confirms Magneto can totally separate what he wants to focus on and not focus on. All right, fine.
Why wouldn't he focus on Wolverine? Like what? The Wolverine.
I'm going to quote Magneto for you, Colin.
Please.
Once again, you think it's all about you.
Oh,
He doesn't see Wolverine as an issue. And
at
2
that
out of
moment.
2 movies, Wolverine thinks he's the stuff, and he's not. So
Okay.
the attitude behind him is that Wolverine's not a problem in any way, shape, or form in any movie universe. Wolverine is just a pawn.
When it comes to Magneto, yeah.
Yeah, he's just a pawn. But that may be more related to Magneto's ego than it is to Wolverine's actual threat.
Yeah, that's ironic actually, because Wolverine is stripped of all the metal in the comics, so he ultimately becomes more of a threat to Magneto because he doesn't have any metal in his bones.
Yeah,
interesting.
True.
By the way, that is probably one of my favorite comic book covers of all time. Wolverine 75. I love it.
So
yes, it's
Kind of
such
horrific,
a fantastic.
But it's very iconic.
Yes.
Well, very cool, guys. Okay, then that sort of answers my question. But it leads me to ask, Paul, what don't you like about X2?
I don't know why writers do this, but it's considered terrible writing when the villain leaves the hero alone in a room. It's very cliche, and this movie does it twice, both with Stryker leaving Professor X in the Cerebro 2, and then Magneto in there. They both
isn't the other guy controlling him?
Yes, they have the son, Stryker's son, in there. But both of them, both Stryker and Magneto, leave Professor X to go in there to be saved because, the bad guy's not there to make sure that he isn't. It's just bad writing.
So you're saying Stryker should have just stayed there the whole time?
So what I'm saying is it's very cliche and I don't like it. Now, they did give a Stryker a reason to leave because the dam was breaking. He wanted to save his life. So that was fine. I was willing to forgive it. But then they did it again with Magneto. Sorry, I'm going to leave you now. And it's like, why again? Come on.
That's fair. Okay. Then let's get to our tragedy makers, guys. And, I'll just come out the gate and say, the last third of this movie, actually not the last third, that's unfair. But after they've, I can't honestly.
They just let it down.
It's
an anti-Jurassic Park movie.
It's there's something about the last, and this is every time I see this movie, it just gets to the point of I'm just done. I'm bored or I'm tired or something.
It's slow and boring.
At the very end, it is. I'm just and I think I was falling asleep because you guys were mentioning some things that I don't remember toward the end.
After you fell asleep.
After they get, I think after Stryker is on the dam, I think that happened. Is that what happened? I don't remember. But it just slows down. I can't remember if they saved the kids or not. It's just
oh my gosh, you fell asleep.
So now it's a tragic for Francisco.
It's not maybe, but it's I don't know. It's just the last eighth of this movie is just slow and boring. I don't get why because it's so great. It's a great paced movie all the way up until there, and inevitably every time I watch this movie, I'm like, it ends on such a sort of pathetic note. I'm like, why do people like this movie? But I enjoy it up until then, so I don't know what to say. That's my tragic maker. Is the last chunk of this movie.
Note it ended on the Phoenix rising out of the water, or the black.
I do remember that
on black background of the credits going.
It's not Firebird. It's Phoenix.
I know that.
There we go.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm with you, Francisco. Actually, the pacing is kind of. Yeah, no,
you fell asleep too?
Almost, actually, toward that part, I almost kind of did toward the.
Because
I would say the whole Bobby Drake family scene is what really kills the pace of it.
That does too as well. Yeah, the only reason I stayed awake through that was because it was agitating. Oh my gosh, seriously. I just
look at that screen. How is that possible?
Not that far, but okay. No, the kid snitching on his brother. How? If you're gonna do that, you need to build up so much animosity early on between these two brothers to make that believable. Because I don't believe the brother's gonna snitch on his brother like that.
Hey, I would believe that brother would snitch on Bobby because Bobby sucks, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
What if that brother, because I don't think he ever opened his mouth, but what if he opened his mouth and said, "Dang it, Bobby, why are you next time?" What's the deal?
Wow.
Dang on.
I'm the king of the hill.
Dang old X-Man got to get superpower with the ice and fire and
some
fire.
Gosh.
All right.
Why don't you just throw in a cocaine party? Make this good, Patch. Jeez,
I
Louise.
love a good cocaine party.
Oh
Gentlemen.
my gosh.
Hey, this isn't the 80s.
Oh,
Sorry, you're right. It's not.
okay. So that was my tragic maker, though, guys. And so, Colin, it sounds like that was your tragic maker too, or
Yeah, tragic maker
was it
was. Yeah, I mean they kind of go hand in hand. Where Bobby, I think, was my tragic maker, where it's because he was so different and not at all like Iceman from the comics or anything at all. Like even going back to X-Men 1, like the first issue of X-Men, where this Bobby's kind of shy, he's a little timid, he's real soft spoken, he's real this and that, and then the Iceman is like outgoing and he's just like kind of brash and he's a prankster. And he's actually helpful.
From the comics is one of my favorite.
Yeah, exactly. And like he doesn't help at all. And so that kind of ties in with another thing that really bothered me is like, why are all these mutants like feel so useless or so helpless in the X Mansion and stuff? I know they're kids.
Oh, you're getting to mine. Go
yeah,
ahead.
like yes, because that really bothered me, man. Because like, okay, you have Bobby, you have Iceman, you have Rogue, you have Pyro sitting there just screaming and going down the hallway, and I'm like, dude, you like, and then you show up there when the cops come and blow up their stuff, but when everybody's raiding the X Mansions, like, where were you? You know,
right?
Yeah.
And so I just don't like the fact that those mutants, like all of them, didn't even try to, get rid of the soldiers. And then
Colossus was, which why can't we get more Colossus?
But he's older, right? I mean, I think any of those kids could have used some sort of power, because what are they learning there at the school? I mean, they're learning about, regular stuff, but they got to learn how to hone their craft. What's that?
They're learning how to not use their power. Well, they're learning to control it and when to use it and when not to. And this is a good example.
That was when to use it. That's the perfect time to use it. Your stuff is being attacked. You picked the wrong house, bub. And then like, if everybody was showed up, there's no chance that anybody.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because in a group that size, you're going to have kids who run away, but you're also going to have kids who are going to be like, forget this. Like, I'm going to take here's my chance to take down an adult. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Banshee did a good job until they just like shot her with the thunders.
Oh my gosh,
that screen. What's her name? Isn't it Banshee? I could swear. Or is Banshee the dude that does the same thing?
Banshee's the guy, but I know you're talking about. Yeah, and that bothered me. I was like, man, thank you for shooting her in the throat. Because that really bothered me. Yeah, it's like, thank God that scream is over. But and then what really bothers me is that when are we going to get our suits? And then Wolverine's basically like, when you grow up, and then they're wearing suits at the end and they didn't do anything. It's like, it's not earned, you didn't earn that suit, and
no, they survived the attack on the dam together. They earned their merit, their damn merit.
They were in the plane the whole time. They were in the
participation uniforms is what they are. They're participation uniforms.
Yeah, that ain't
everybody gets a uniform. You get a uniform, you get a uniform, you get a uniform.
Yeah.
Okay, Oprah. All right, so that's a totally valid tragic maker in my opinion, Colin.
Okay,
let's see. Speaking of everyone getting a tragic maker, how about let's give Patch, what's your tragic maker for X2?
Well, I would say this, I don't know whose fault this is, if it's
Bryan Singer's
or if it's Bryan Singer.
I mean, we can call him up and ask him, but go for it.
I don't like a tease that doesn't pay off. And isn't
that more Brett Ratner's fault? But okay.
Maybe it is. I don't know. What we see is a complete film with a little great tease that ends up leading to a subpar finale. And
please explain. What is teased?
I mean, you've got the hint of the Phoenix Rising.
The Firebird?
Not that one. No, the good fire, the one that actually you want to see in the next film.
Well, that's the tease of the next movie.
Oh, the Firebird.
It's the tease of the next movie, but the payoff in the third movie just seems really, really mediocre.
Wait. So your tragic maker of the second movie is the third movie?
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, look, when you... I get that there are challenges to this, and the last 3 Star Wars movies are a great example of this, that if you don't decide ahead of time, let's create cohesion so we can create an overarching story with really great A plots and B plots and scenes that to lead to a larger narrative. Mm-hmm. What ends up happening is Bryan Singer leaves the director's chair, and now you've got this third movie that may or may not have had the script that it did. It may have had the inklings of a plotted out narrative. And I'm not going to blame X2 for this, but I'm saying specifically that if you're going to tease something, you've got to have the gumption to at least pay it off in a way that makes sense. And I think X2 is 95% great. But the fact that you are leaving me with, stay tuned for the third movie. Back to the Future 2 does that. Mm-hmm. And while Back to the Future 3 isn't as good, it's still a good movie.
Hold your tongue.
I'm going to hold my tongue and say that is Future 3 is not as good as the other 2.
No, right. Let your tongue go.
That was him holding his tongue. But
what you have is X1 is a complete story with a hint at maybe we'll get a sequel. And now X2 ends with we're going to get an X3. And so it almost feels like, all right, look, if you're going to double down and really tease this out, you got to come through. Pay that man his money, in terms of giving Singer his full director prowess or whatever. And so technically, yes, it wasn't something about X2 that was my tragic maker, but I think the decision to tease a third movie and not really pay it off as effectively as you set it up is my tragic maker. If you're going to double down like that, man, pay it off. I got frustrated with like the Pirates movie. The second movie was great until I realized, it's a really long trailer for the third one. Okay. That's fine. And that's what I felt like when I saw X3. I was like, oh, so X2 is just kind of a really long trailer. I don't feel that way now. I feel like 99% of the movie is great.
Except for that last chunk, huh? Yeah, I agree.
I would, and I would agree. Francisco. The pacing of the last third feels a little bloated. It feels like you're like, all right, let's throw some more action. Let's not let it slow down. And you're really trying to bring all these small pieces together, which, granted, if you're juggling all these different subplots and all these different character pairs, you got to bring them to closure at some point. And I feel like it was kind of like, and in the end, they all survived. Okay, let's go back.
So did you like the relationship between Rogue and Bobby?
No, not at all.
Well, then there you go. That's a tragic maker, like inside X2.
But again, I think that goes back to my other dislike. So they're probably interchangeable in that.
Yeah.
That Bobby and Rogue did not matter to me. It felt like a CW plot. It felt like something you would see.
I did not care about the relationship
an X-Men TV show. Look, you throw that in Smallville, that's fine because it's appropriate. This felt like a TV show plot for me.
Was he in Smallville or was that his brother?
He was. He wasn't.
Because they're twins, right?
Yeah.
Oh, are they twins?
Yeah.
No, I think it was him in Smallville.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I would agree, Colin. I think if you've got this pair, they feel juvenile. They are juvenile, but they feel juvenile inappropriately in relationship to the rest of the movie. This is an adult X-Men movie. Like it's surrounded by like mature characters, and you've got kids that are just sort of ratting around. Look, let them be in the background. Don't let them carry a subplot from point A to point B.
Yeah, and it didn't empower Rogue at all. It didn't. No. I mean, it was just Bobby. She was just the girlfriend, kind of running around screaming, and and like she wasn't empowered. Yeah, and dude, she's Rogue. Like in the comics and stuff, she could suplex a Sentinel, man. Like she can,
exactly.
And like in this is just it didn't treat her with any. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Well, she flew the Blackbird and then crashed it, but then that's it. But then
she hasn't.
it didn't give her
Marvel's powers yet, I think, in the movie.
No, she hasn't.
it didn't empower her at all. It didn't give her any respect. I mean, but anyway, moving on.
Moving on to LJ's Tragic Maker. What did you hate most, LJ?
So, I mean, before I mention it, I want to add to real quick about the whole like payoff thing. I would say that I believe that the sacrifice could have been cooler than like a dam, flooding kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's where, to me, the payoff is a little weaker than it could have been. But anyway, I just wanted to add that. But my Tragic Maker, I had talked about it earlier, was Cyclops. Man, that dude across this whole trilogy, and even this one in particular, like at least he was present, I guess, in the first movie. But this movie, he was like barely in it to me. Like he barely said a few words, and to have him like reduced to like a fill-in like bad guy, like and I get it, that's like the whole like mind control thing, but I felt like they could have easily added another villain alongside with Yuriko, who was also a much weaker character than she is in like the comics and other source material and stuff.
Yeah. Well, props to James Marsden for coming back and returning, even though that he had such a minor role.
Right?
But I agree that there is so much potential there in a lot of these characters.
He did the best he could with it. Like I would have loved to see him do more. Like
exactly. It goes back to the writing for sure. And like I'm a Cyclops guy too, and it's just like you think of him, you want him to be this leader, and you
like
want him to show up.
A good old boy kind of type.
Yeah, he got totally owned by protecting Professor Xavier. But then, like a Captain America, like you go here, you go up here, you go down, you do this, you do that, and he's tactical, all that stuff. The strategist. And they didn't take advantage of that.
And then the whole time I'm like, man, Logan, like that's Scott's girl. Leave her alone. Like let him.
Exactly.
Like
totally.
I didn't like that whole arc too. I'm just like, no, we don't need this. That's Cyclops. Girl.
I know they have that dynamic. Like at least in the '90s cartoon, there was that too.
There
but
is that a little bit. Yeah, but like I was just like, I didn't like it. And it was that whole like, oh, we're making Wolverine the lead character thing, which was fine too, because they actually did a really good job with that. But Cyclops could have been a much cooler character all around. Another villain, I think, in his place, instead of having him be the one to like fight the X-Men, I was like, they could have easily put another small villain in there.
You mean when he was mind controlled?
Yes, when he was mind controlled, they could have easily had another in there, I think. I don't know who, now that I think about it, but it's just like
the Juggernaut. There's something that could stand up to his blasts.
Like there's so many they could choose from, like a bunch of minor villains. But
Toad returns.
I thought
that would be cool.
Guards
Toad,
was not Toad, but who was the guy that played? Oh my gosh, sorry, just a total brain fart. No, who's the guy that played the Darth Maul?
Well,
Ray Park.
Ray Park.
Yeah, Ray Park. I thought one of the guards was Ray Park for a second.
He kind of did look like him. I think I know what you mean.
That's cool.
Cyclops was just such an underutilized character, dude, and I would say like in the way that like Rogue is underutilized.
And Iceman and a lot of them.
And Iceman, yes, but this one is just, as a Cyclops fan, I'm like, oh, this is so tragic.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll go into my Tragic Maker based on that. Speaking of underplayed, one of the things that I liked about this, I thought some of it was really smart, but I thought a lot of, unfortunately, there were many not so smart in how they use the characters.
Well, that's hard to do with a big cast like that.
Well, then you don't do it. Look, you either go big or go home. That's what this demands. I mean, you have
$120 million. They did go big.
You have Professor X, who, by the way, in the comics doesn't have wheels on his. It's like a hover thing that he floats with his mind. Like he can control things
with his mind. I don't think I knew that.
I float with my mind too.
Why doesn't
telekinesis? Right?
No.
How does gas?
Stop. Full stop.
Full stop.
If he can move a chair with his mind, why doesn't he just move his legs with his mind?
Well, he can.
Then why doesn't
he chooses not to? Because it's I forget the whole reason why he it's sort of like
middle
disgrace or something like that. It's like He could if he wanted to, but he chooses not to for whatever. That's his reason. Why don't you ask him?
Maybe
Anyway.
it was for the Wheels joke in the first movie.
Yeah, that was a good joke. I love that joke.
So here you have gas in the chamber, Magneto's chamber, and you can, but maybe he cannot. Maybe he's not telekinetic in the movies. No, not Magneto's gas, but the gas that knocks them both out.
Yeah,
you know?
yes.
So as someone who can, I'm thinking that this is the Professor X from the comics that can move things from his mind. Gas is one of those things that he could push away with his mind, but he just sucks it up like the wuss that he is, and. Because these writers don't know what to do with these characters. It's kind of like when you have when Stryker is invading the mansion, you know, like we said, it's all those kids like not attack. That was also my tragic maker. It's like you have Wolverine who could almost take out all of these guys that it's looking like. He goes on a full, you know, like all up in there. And like, okay, not even a couple of these kids are helping him out. It could, like, the three of them could take out these guys. You know,
yes.
The writers don't know what they had, so it's
like those
it's
kids are being
frustrating
trained to use their powers, and they're freaking out and not using them. Like,
That guy who watches TV all the time—that's a huge superpower right there. His ability to
right.
Well, that's true. Maybe some of them have lesser things to deal with, but
sure. You're going to have the kids that run away.
I think what we can all agree on is the fact that there are characters that we see on screen or that get depicted in some way, shape, or form. Remy LeBeau is one that are popular but are underutilized, and then the ones that we don't care about as much are either reinterpreted, Iceman and Pyro, and Rogue, who aren't elevated. And I would say of those three, of that triplet of those three teenagers, Rogue gets the shaft more than anybody else.
Oh yeah,
because she's such a central figure in the first film. I would absolutely expect that over the course of the time between the two films, when the first film ends and the second film begins, she's gotten more mature, she's gotten more powerful, and the central crux of her central conflict should not be, can I make out with my boyfriend?
Right, exactly.
It should
how can I help the team?
How can I help the team?
Right.
And that's where in fact, because Anna Paquin's such a fantastic actress. Maybe they didn't know that at the time. Maybe she wasn't showing it, but that's where I feel like that was lost. And I would have forgiven.
So was her accent, by the way.
I think she had one Southern line in that whole thing.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But again,
Storm's accent's gone
if,
too. But
if you're gonna reinterpret that, fine. You don't have to take, if you're going to take that away, as long as you're bringing the essence of her character to life and give her some growth. I don't feel like there was any growth from movie 1 to movie 2.
No, she regressed, that character.
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah. Well, because it was really just Wolverine X2, X-Men United with Wolverine.
Yeah, like I said earlier, the Wolverine thing was done really well, but it was also a detriment to the rest of the cast and the rest of the movies, really.
Yeah. But now that we've entered all our trajectories into the firing computer, Alice, do you have a firing solution for us?
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo at the ready. On your mark.
Alrighty, guys. Do we rate X2, X-Men United, a classic? We'd recommend anyone go see this film, whether or not they've seen it before. A nostalgic, it's worth your time to rewatch it if you watched as a kid and you enjoyed it, or you just have fond memories of it. Yeah, experience it again. But if you've never seen it, maybe go watch, I don't know, one of the MCU movies or something like that. Or do we rate it a tragic? It's not worth anyone's time today. If you've never seen it, keep it that way. And if you do remember seeing it and have fond memories, don't rewatch it, because a rewatch will sully those fond memories. So let's start with our newest guest. And Colin, what is your final rating for X2, X-Men United? You predicted classic. Did that hold
Strong
up?
classic. Colossus classic is what I predicted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But during our discussion and during the watch last night and everything, I don't know, man. It kind of had to come down a notch. I mean, you know me, I'm a huge X-Men fan, and I feel bad about having to downgrade it, but I'm gonna have to go nostalgic with it. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was about to say, is it a moderate classic, not so colossal?
Yeah. See, Yeah, yeah. It's one of those little student kids in the school who didn't do anything classic.
Wow, guys.
No, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, I had like reluctant classic or just kind of I was on the fence, but I'm gonna have to downgrade it to nostalgic. We're just so spoiled with like the MCU, and I'm really looking forward to what's gonna come up and how they're really gonna be true to those characters and how they're really gonna elevate those characters. And
are they though?
I really think so because
I don't know.
everybody's
I don't know
talking
if they'll
about
actually get around to introducing them. But then on the other hand, there's so much money to be made by introducing them. That how can they not?
Yeah, they definitely will. Yeah, so nostalgic for me on this one, even though the Nightcrawler sequence is the main
it's
event.
Really great.
Man.
Yes,
like that thing is just so awesome.
Yeah, they should have done something.
You bring that up. Do you like the Nightcrawler sequence better than the Quicksilver sequences of the
that came to mind me too as a comparison. Yeah, interesting, Paul. Yeah,
well, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because to Patch's point, I didn't like X3. I didn't give the others my attention.
Okay.
Yeah, and I heard that was really cool. That was really cool. But...
So let me say this, Colin. Can I go next? Just to kind of tie into that.
Yeah, go for it, Patch. Yes.
Yeah, dude.
So I'm going to go ahead and say not tragic, nostalgic.
No,
as well
no, tragic. You said tragic. We can't go. We can't. You said that was the first word.
No. I said triumphantly nostalgic because I do believe X2 is the best in this trilogy by far, hands down.
Yeah.
Period. Dot. What I will say though, and this is interesting, is
die.
Is the I didn't say dot die.
No.
I said dot. DOT.
Oh, I thought you said die. Sorry.
No, period. Dot is what I'm saying.
Period. Die.
What I will say is the prequel does the exact same thing for me. You've got a pretty good first entry.
Mm-hmm.
Days of Future Past is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, I really like that.
And then Apocalypse just kind of goes what?
Yeah.
And I don't know I don't know what it is. If it's the Singer touch, which says, you know what, the second entry is going to be the bomb. And you know what? You put him in a franchise like Pirates of the Caribbean of those original three, and now you've got a really great trilogy. Because I felt like you got a first, and first is fantastic. I don't think anybody's going to touch that. So just as an FYI, if you ever want me on, just know it's already going to be a classic. If that ever comes around. And the last one was pretty good. A great way to finish that thing. The second one just felt muddy. And I'm like, bring in Singer to kind of pump that up. But I felt like the opposite exists with these two X-Men trilogies where you have a pretty good first entry, a fantastic second entry, and then a mediocre third entry. I think Days of Future Past is rewatchable for anybody, even if you don't.
That yet.
No, it's really good. I would say watch the first and watch the second. Don't really worry about
watch
the third.
Them in order.
Obviously. I mean, because
I like First Class, but I haven't seen.
First Class is good, but man, I was so impressed because I didn't really feel a lot coming out of First Class. Like, okay, I guess I can get excited about this.
Exactly. Yes.
I watched Days of Future Past and was like, this is a comic book movie.
Days of Future Past was actually pretty well done.
It's on the list.
From start to finish, and you don't have to watch Apocalypse to appreciate that because it didn't leave something at the end for me.
Yeah, I felt like it was pretty closed.
Yeah, they could have closed it after that.
I didn't feel like when Apocalypse came out, I was like, oh, good, they get to finish this. Whereas with X2, I was like, when X3 comes out, I'm ready to finish this out. And that goes back to my tragic maker. But I'll say for me, X2 is nostalgic, but in and of itself, within these other two, it's by far the best.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Very good. Very good. So, LJ, you actually predicted nostalgic. Did it stay the same or did it change much like Colin and Patch's ratings changed?
I think watching the first one again recently lowered my expectations significantly because that the first one I would almost rate like very low nostalgic or even tragic.
And for context, when we had Patch on and his fellow host from Feelin' Film, Aaron White, on to discuss X-Men, which you can check out our review at retrorewindpodcast.com/111. We rated that a disputed classic film, but continue on.
Okay. I think it would have to just go over the line for classic for me because it's one of those things where it's like if I was to show somebody like this is what we had before the MCU stuff. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
really, it feels like underappreciated watching these again. So to me, it's like if I was to show somebody these other movies, and if somebody wanted to watch a movie from the original X-Men trilogy, I'd be like, okay, this is the one.
Nice.
Which
100%.
Yeah, and so there's obviously there's a lot of iffy stuff going on, and there's just so much that they couldn't do that they could have done. It's almost a way for me to appreciate, like, okay, like here's what we did before, but now if we ever get to that in the MCU, we know it's going to be so much greater.
Right.
But I think a lot of good came out from these movies, and this, to me, like, this is a classic. This is one that, like, if I want some nostalgia, I'll definitely go to this one, which I guess that would also make it nostalgic. But it's the absolute one that I would pick, and for me, that's a classic.
Awesome. Now, before we get to me and Paul's reigns, so far we're 2 nostalgic and classic. I want to say you have like 2 to 3 minutes left in our auction to go try to grab you can pick your X-Men piece. If your favorite X-Men is Rogue, if it's Cyclops, if it's Magneto, Professor X, Storm, there's lots of the X-Men to choose from that Colin Schlicht did, portraits of them, really awesome. And all the funds we're raising money for Ashley's cat, who had to go to the emergency vet recently. So currently the high bid is $27. So from Dapperman Reviews, thank you so much, Dapperman. But you can still have 2 minutes to beat it if you want. Again, the link is, scroll up and chat. It's there.
.com/retro rewind pod /auction/60D65588D40DBF0034A0758C.
Love it.
So easy to remember.
Rolls right off the tongue.
I applaud you for reading all that.
Oh, man. That was pretty good. But now, Paul, I want to applaud you on you rating this the correct rating. What say you for your final rating?
We'll see. Honestly, I would recommend this to the general audience. I would have a caveat. If you're a comic book fan or even a X-Men animated series fan, you might be frustrated by some of these characters and how they handle them. But overall, I would recommend anybody to watch it. So I would give it not a strong classic, like, oh, you have to put this on it's a must see. It's not, but yeah. So based on that, I would recommend it to just about anybody. That falls under the classic rating.
Okay. And for me, I'm gonna have to go nostalgic. I predicted nostalgic. I have more fun with the first movie. Way more fun with like Days of Future Past in terms of X-Men fare. And if this movie didn't have that last like chunk of just boredom, it would probably be a classic. But it's just that and also like we talked about Bobby and Rogue. I've always Anna Paquin's a fine actress. I've always disliked her as Rogue. I want a grown woman Rogue, not a child Rogue. I want the Rogue of the 90s cartoon and the Gambit of the 90s cartoon and that romance or non-romance, whatever you want to call it. What, Paul?
What if it's the prequel Rogue?
Then where's the prequel Magneto and the prequel Xavier?
Yeah, she needs to be Storm's age. She needs to be Storm's and Jean's age.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
A teacher.
If you want Rogue that young, have Rogue be in the First Class and Days of Future Past. That may, I guess she is.
Rogue filled a very Jubilee role in this trilogy.
So make a Jubilee. I don't. Fine.
Yeah, they
make
could have made
She played the Jubilee character in the first film, essentially.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Just make it Jubilee. Why make it Rogue? Have someone else be Rogue. So that bothered me. Anyway, all that being said, it was. I enjoyed certainly lots of parts with it. Like we said, ad nauseum. The Nightcrawler scene. The school takeover. Even a Stryker was a good villain, I'd say, on the whole. He was very despicable in terms of what he did to his son, and he's a great villain.
Dark story and motives.
He just excels at that, be it Bourne Identity or X-Men.
And he comes back in the prequels.
He does. I don't remember.
Yeah, he's a major character in as a younger version of Stryker. Yeah.
Oh, is it a different actor?
Yeah, it's a different actor.
Oh,
that
that's
plays him,
what.
yeah.
That's what's okay. But all being said, I'm going to rate X2 X-Men United a nostalgic film. So according to the Retro Rewind podcast, we rate X2 X-Men United a disputed nostalgic film. We'd recommend if you've enjoyed it in the past, it's worth watching again. But if you've never seen it, probably go see one of the other X-Men movies. So that being said, now it's time to get back to our own time. Good old 20XX.
You sure about that? 20XX?
Rewind mission complete. Proceed to nav point Omega and return to base.
20XX?
Sats online. Receiving incoming transmission.
It feels good to be back. But we wouldn't have been able. What was that, LJ?
Sorry, I said it. It's a good thing we're not in 2020.
Yeah, exactly. But 20XX could be any year. Regardless, it feels good to be back. But we wouldn't have been able to travel back to 2003 to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflex capacitors, namely Jared Holzhauer, Deborah Powers, Brian Keating, Patrick Hicks, LJ Lowry, Chris Cowan. Dang it. Two of them I missed right there.
Is it? Yes, it is.
Now it's an Edna mode. Don't do another Edna mode. The other one wasn't an official Edna mode. I was just going to cut that and snip it out.
Were you, or were you going to keep it in?
I could have sworn he said enema instead of Edna mode.
If you're in a mode, that's fine. If you're a la mode, that's cool too.
This town needs an enema. Anyway, let me try that again.
Whoa, he's right here. Sorry.
Let me take.
I didn't want you to forget. Oh, good.
I know. That's why I stopped.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
You could have forgotten again. It has happened. Not usually, but
you done.
No, anything to make this longer.
And no dancing around trying to get me a break. Feels good to be back, but we went to.
I'm sorry, Colin. Do you need to go?
No, this is great.
Okay.
Yeah, this is awesome right here.
All right.
Yeah. Let's go, Francisco.
Seeing how the sausage is made right now.
Yeah.
Feels good to be back, but we wouldn't have been able to travel back to 2003 to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflux capacitors, namely Jared Holzhauer, Deborah Powers, Brian Keating, Patrick Hicks. Oh, he's right here. LJ Lowry, he's here too. Chris Cowan, Chris Owens, Geek Devotions, The Untold Podcast, James Kennison, Drew of the Cellcast, Ashley Cronenbitter, Pastor Dewston, Kenneth N, Redeemed Otaku, Ryan Lingle, That's Our Babo, Josh Adams, D. Tungsten, Andy Lewis, Jeff, Lil Ronan, The Dapper Man Reviews, and Tony from Retro Days, in addition to 8 other awesome patrons as well. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help us keep flying for as little as $1 a month and get bonus content for your generosity, head over to retrorewindpodcast.com/support to help us grow via Patreon, Subscribestar, or PayPal.
This stream is sponsored by PaulJPowers.com.
And while we're thanking our supporters, we also want to give a big X-Men hug to our guests for supporting us with their time and thoughts about X2, X-Men United, X Harder, the search for more money. As I like to do, go around alphabetically. Please tell us where people can find you online, and is there anything cool you got going on? So let's start with Colin Schlicht. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me. This has been a blast, and I've been looking forward to it. And I voted to get this on the air for the past, I don't know how many months it's been up, but I had to vote a couple times.
Yeah.
So, good job.
Yeah. Artbycolin.com, full portfolio. You can see all the art and stuff that I'm up to. And then if you want to collab on a project, go to artbycolin.com/connect. and we can figure that out together. And follow me on Instagram at Art by Colin. That's Colin with 2 L's. And then I've got a Gallery 1988 show coming up. They're a pop culture gallery out of LA, and they're awesome. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm doing something for Into the Spider-Verse for that show. And it's going to be a big piece. And so it's going to be fun.
So you said a big piece. Is that like an 8x10? How big is a big piece?
16 by 24 is the scale, and then I'll scale it down to 8x12 for smaller prints too. Nice. And then the Portrait of X series, like for the auction, I love getting into that. And
nice.
Yeah, so just lots of stuff going on. So follow me on the socials and see you there.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here. And let's go to Patch. Where can people find you online? Is there anything cool you got going on that people should know about?
Yeah, you can find me online at Shoeless Patch, ShoelessPatch. And as I mentioned before we started this fantastic conversation, I co-host a podcast called Feelin' Film. We've been around for about 4 years now, where we look at films both then and now and talk about them from an emotional standpoint. We like to think that the reason you go to movies is to be entertained first and foremost. And as you leave a theater, you're probably thinking, man, that made me feel something, whether disgusted or bored or excited. And we talk about that. Recently, we've been kind of taking a new approach by honestly talking about movies that we either know we're going to like or that we know we already love. So the movies that we cover that are not recently coming out, you can guarantee that we're going to have a lot of good stuff to say about them. And movies like F9 that just released, we're going to have a fun conversation about, even if we didn't like some parts about it. We try to keep it positive honesty. That's kind of our philosophy, and make sure that we're keeping things on the emotional takeaway rather than technical. So check us out, feelinfilm.com. We've got a large repertoire of episodes. And as we mentioned before, both Francisco and Paul have been on several episodes. And have been great conversation with them. So check it out and hear their voices if you want to get beyond just us two. It's good stuff.
Very cool. Nice. And last but certainly not least is WarJ. How can people find you online, and what's going on with you?
You can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram at WarHeroLJ. I have the honor of being president of Geeks Under Grace, which is a website and organization that works to bridge the gap between Jesus and pop culture through our website, in which we have reviews, Bible studies, Christian living content, all kinds of stuff that tie the two together. And if you got a fandom, chances are one of us has written about it somewhere. We also have a Twitch channel. You can find twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace, where we have somebody streaming almost every day of the week. We have our own podcast, the Geeks Under Grace podcast, and you can find that pretty much on your favorite platforms. So
awesome. Cool. So question, you said almost every fandom. Do you have a section of the site devoted to spatula enthusiasts? Jeez.
Probably not. Probably not that one.
So you don't have anyone going to Spatula City and doing interviews with employees?
Fandoms in pop culture, I should say.
that is a type of pop culture, if anyone gets a reference. Anyway, but thank you so much, LJ.
Sorry, I didn't get the reference.
That's okay. It's a UHF reference. Thank you so much, LJ, Colin, Patch. So awesome to have you guys all, like Paul said, take your time to be on the show. It's so fun getting to have these conversations with you guys. And thank you to you, whether you're listening for the first time, and of course, everyone who's a part of our Rad Rewinder community, you all who watch us live every week, whether we're recording this podcast or I'm playing a retro game, you're an amazing, amazing group of people. You're uncanny, in fact.
I see what you did there.
And a group of people sustaining the pod. But if you are looking for ways to get involved in growing this Retro Rewind endeavor, reach out to us on social media, where we are at Retro Rewind Pod pretty much everywhere. You could buy some of our merch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser, become a monthly patron, or simply just share your favorite episode of the podcast with a friend so that more people can enjoy the content of the Retro Rewind Pod.
We got ourselves an X-Men fan.
You've been listening to RetroRewindPodcast.com/229, our review of X2 X-Men United with me, your XO, PaulJPowers.com. You can find me online and all my social media links at PaulJPowers.com.
Well, it's not .org, it's .com.
.com.
Oh, thank you so much, Paul, for being an awesome friend. A much better friendship here than Fireboy and Icicle Man. So much better.
Here, here.
Firebird. Darn
Firebird.
it. I knew
Firebird and Icicle.
Oh, I thought it was Firebird and Frozone. Okay.
Frozone's way cooler.
Literally. Co-sign that, Colin.
Cooler, yes. Oh, wait. Oh, I didn't get it till now. Dang it.
Yeah, there you go.
Where's my super suit?
Where is it? Why do you need to know? But thank you so much, Paul. Always such a treat getting to do this podcast with you. And I have been and continue to be Captain of the Pod, Francisco Ruiz. Find me on Twitter at FXRetro_, especially if you need pixel art work commissioned.
And we are honored to announce for the first time, not ever, but maybe a few times before, we are part of the Christian Geek Central Network at ChristianGeekCentral.com.
Not .org, not .net, .com.
Hey, Captain, we're on Final Approach to Base. Something about Salva Authority is something or other.
Great, Paul.
Yeah.
Thank you, XO, and thank you, yes, you listening right now for listening. We pray you are more joyful now than when you first hit play. But like a Pokemon, we gotta catch you all for Air Force One, our next episode of the Retro Rewind Podcast. Get off my plane!
Tragic Maker.
That's another airplane movie.
Retro Rewind mission complete. Proceed to nav point Omega and return to base.
Good night, sugar.
See, where's that rogue? Where was that rogue?
Exactly. Where is she?
All right.
She's in the arcade.
Thanks.
Those arcade sound bits took me back.
Because they came from the cartoon, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Or at least the same voice actors?
Yeah.
Tornado Claw, Drill Claw,
That's definitely a cartoon. Yeah.
Bub, Rookie.
So good. So good. Anyway, thank you everyone here. Dapperman, Geek Devotions, Ashley, Dale. Thank you all, Bobo. Thank you all for hanging out, being a part of this. Neko. Really awesome getting to hang out with you guys. We did have the finalist who won the auction pending payment was again Dapperman. Thank you so much for giving to that, and those funds were going to help offset the cost of the emergency visit for Ashley's cat. Thank you so much for.
It's actually a
for helping with
Wolverine, but
shh, we're not supposed to tell people.
I know. Sorry, I thought it.
Exact pet laws and all. Jeez.
Which one did he get?
I don't know. It doesn't say. The auction is you get to pick one. So you'll have to let me know which one you want, Dapperman. And I mean, you could tell us here which one you'd like to get.
Type it in the chat.
I think he picked.
Berserker Barrage.
Oh my gosh, Paul. Wow. Yes, you lost, Geek Devotions. You lost by $2.
Hey, Geek Devotions, you lost the game.
Oh.
When you do this,
Dun 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 dun.
That's allergies. Well, he's not telling us. Maybe it's a secret.
Maybe he hasn't decided yet.
Oh, there it is. Just mail it to Geek Devotions whenever you, whatever one they want. Oh, that is sweet.
But you have to put Geek Devotions has to put it in their backdrop to be displayed on all their streams and says lovingly from the Dapper Man.
I was waiting for the Dapper Man to put JK. That would have been messed up.
Wow. I don't want this. No, that's very kind of you, Dapper Man.
Oh wow, nice.
So which one would you guys want, Dallas and Celeste? Yeah, totally a nice gesture. Agreed, Ashley.
Awesome.
He would like to say he's kidding, but now he feels bad enough he can't.
Anyway, so
when jokes go wrong on the internet.
The classic Cyclops. So the one where he's white and blue, that one.
So you want the
classic?
Do you want the variant? Do you want the hooded Cyclops, or do you want the one with the one he should have looked in the movie?
Darn tootin'. Well, let me know. You can let me know that, or reach out to Colin on Discord, or
Instagram's better.
Instagram. Oh, what? You're not just
Yeah.
okay. Some of you do want Paul. All right. Anyway, thank you guys so much, everyone who is watching. Thank you again, Dapper Man, for your contribution. So nice that we get to pull together as a community to help Ashley here. And thank you, LJ, Colin, Patch. If you can stick around for bonus content, awesome. If you can't, totally understand.
Sure.
But we're gonna end with a prayer. Then I like to end the streams with a stream face, where you just make a silly face as we end the stream. That is true, Paul. All right. Lord God, thank you so much for tonight, for this awesome group of gents that we get to just discuss movies. Thank you for this opportunity, the technology that allows us to do this. Thank you for everyone who watched and will listen to this later on. I pray that it all brings them joy and mirth and just a retreat from the chaos, and just a place where they can feel like they're not alone, but they have other people that like the same things they do. I pray protection and provision over all of us, and for those of us who have put our faith and trust in you, may we pursue you more and more each day, more and more each day. Help me to enunciate also, please, Lord. And I pray these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Yeah. Amen.
Did you say and mirth?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Mirth. So I always took it to be like just very happy and like light, and things are just going well. It's a fun time. That's what I thought mirth meant. Maybe it means something else.
Especially as an expressed in laughter.
Okay, yeah.
Example, his 6-foot frame shook him with mirth, high spirits, cheerfulness.
That's how I mean it, yes. MIRTH.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, here, thank you for being here. Here is your stream phase.
What? There's a stream face? What?
You know that is on all the time.
Get to the chopper!
No.
That doesn't